Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. For those of you joining us for the first time on Hopin, YouTube, or Facebook to watch our team presentations, hello and welcome to Body Hack presented by Geekspeak Commerce. My name is Trisha Williams, and I'm the Managing Partner and Client Success Leader right here at Geekspeak Commerce. And I want to thank you so much for joining us for our Body Hack presentations. Before we get into it, I want to take a moment to thank our great sponsors. We couldn't have done it without them. So thank you so much for your contribution and for sticking with us the year that we had to postpone this event. This year, our Hack for Good focus is on disrupting healthcare with the use of technology. And given the state of the world today, due to the pandemic, our theme couldn't be any more topical. We challenged our teams to create a software or hardware prototype that tackles a healthcare issue of their choosing in just 30 hours. We know that's a massive ask, but based on what I've seen so far during some of the mentor drop-ins, I think we're in for some great ideas. So to our participants, I hope you had a great night of hacking. And let me be the first to say, congratulations on making it through the night. You did it. Not everyone who starts a hackathon finishes it. So kudos to you for pushing through to the end. I do have to remind you that hacking is officially over as it is past 4. So all hacking should be wrapped up by now. Our team presentations will be starting very soon. So as a reminder for our presenters and judges, this is the order we'll be following. All right. So we'll be going in order of team numbers, as you can see, all the way up, starting at 1 and then all the way through to 8 and then through to team 20. As you can see, there are some gaps in between. And like I said earlier, not everyone will make it through the night on a hackathon. So kudos again to these 14 teams for pushing through to the finish line. So just before we kick things off with our first presentation, I'd like to take a moment to invite our judges on stage so that they can take a few minutes to introduce themselves and say hello. Hi there. Hi, JP. Hi, Mark. Hi, Isaac. Hi, Tim. Good to have you guys.
Hey, Trish.
Yeah, I wanted to take a moment just to have you each introduce yourselves. Isaac, do you want to kick things off?
Sure, absolutely. I introduced myself yesterday, and I'll do it again. My name is Isaac Wanzama. I'm the founder of Geekspeak Commerce, and I'm so excited to see the ideas here. I know everybody's been working really hard, heck of a night last night, and really looking forward to seeing some great ideas here. Awesome.
JP, why don't we go next?
Perfect. Thank you for having me again, guys. I love this, and I'm glad that I get to come here every year. It's super exciting. A lot of amazing companies. I'm the general partner at the OPN Supporters Fund, and we help early stage companies get access to funding.
Excellent. Thanks, JP, and thanks again for the talk this morning. All right, over to you, Mark.
Thanks, Trisha. Mark Witzel. I'm with NRC IRAP, which is National Research Council's Innovation Research Assistance Program. And I work with SMEs, small, medium enterprise companies, which are less than 500 employees, working on innovation projects all across the country. So innovation's my space, and I'm really excited to see what happened in the last 30 hours.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark. And nice t-shirt.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Nice. And over to you, Tim. So.
Yeah, hi. And Trish, I assume I'm going to get a t-shirt after this, right?
Absolutely. 100%.
My name is Tim Pauly. I'm the Director of Research and Academics at Ontario Shores Centre for Mental Health Sciences. I've been in Ontario Shores for about 2 years now. Prior to that, I was the Manager of Research and Innovation at a rehab and complex continuing care hospital in Toronto. My vision for Ontario Shores is to create what we believe will be the first in a mental health innovation living lab in the inpatient mental health setting. And one of these days, I expect, or my vision is to open our doors to provide physical space, access to patients, access to our clinical staff, our physicians, our data sets, to aspiring entrepreneurs in the private sector to help us identify and pin down some of our most pressing clinical challenges and healthcare challenges, co-design, co-produce, and develop the scientific evidence to help commercialize and grow those companies.
Wow, that's amazing. I see JP taking notes over there.
I know I'm reaching out to after, yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Very cool. Yeah.
Well, listen.
And let's not forget to mention that we're going to be giving this away today. So really excited about the Innovation Cup. So let's get this started.
Awesome. Yeah, Isaac's been holding on to that trophy.
I have. I have. I'm going to have to give it away, though.
Yeah. Well, listen, thank you, gentlemen, so much for hopping on to introduce yourselves. And thank you for your time today. Really appreciate it. So while we send the judges backstage, we're going to get team number 1 ready. And while we do that, I want to remind everyone of the judging criteria. We are evaluating 5 elements. So each element will be scored from 1 to 10. So the maximum top score, if it was perfect, would be 50 points. So we'll be looking at impact, innovation, alignment with the challenge, user experience, and presentation. All right, as a reminder, presentations should not exceed 5 minutes, and our judges will join teams on stage to ask 1 to 2 questions after their presentation. Okay, so I think I've gotten all of the housekeeping out of the way. I'm going to take this time to invite team number 1 on stage. Bear in mind, this is a virtual event, so we're going to try our best to mitigate any tech issues, but this is the first time for us going virtual, so hang in there with us, guys. So first up is team number 1, and this is Team Iris. Hi, Team Iris.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Iris right here with me.
Okay. And just in case anybody's worried about COVID rules, this is a couple. They actually live together. All right. So Raymond, I'm going to hand it over to you guys and go for it.
Okay, thanks. Hi, we're Team Iris, and we came up with this project called Project Iris, Vision for All. This is our subtitle. Essentially, we've noticed that over the past couple of months, or like a month ago, my mom had to set up her phone, and then she had trouble reading the text, so it was a simple fix. You just increase the size. But I work as an app developer, and I see a lot of our users actually usually have the same issue too. And it kind of occurred to me that a lot of people are having visual impairment issues, especially nowadays with the average age increasing in first world countries, especially. There's more people with visual impairment, some sort of visual impairment. So from the World Health Organization, they estimate that the global visual impairment amount is across all ages is 285 million people, of 39 million of whom are legally blind. And those people, 82% of them are over 50 years old. So I think like this is a pretty big space, or a pretty big industry that's upcoming with the increasing age of people all around the world. And then I was also recently looking into some advancements in edge computing for AI solutions. So like here's an example of a board that I found. The one on the right is it's tiny, but it's capable of running a complete trained model to give you some image recognition or image classification. And the Raspberry Pi there is a single board computer that is very powerful for cloud connected applications. So I thought I could take these together, add a camera on it, and we could make a smart glasses for blind people, or visually impaired people at least. So looking at the competition, here's some of the devices that I found that they're pretty nice devices, but for the most part, I think the main feature of these is they just help visually impaired people read, which is definitely an essential service that they require. But these things start at like $3,000, and there's not really many smart capabilities to them. So I thought we can add some enhancements. So with the project I started working on, the main idea was to incorporate a better user experience or user interface. So like completely through speech. If you had a smart assistant on the actual device, you could just ask it questions about what you see in your area, and then using a stereo camera setup, we can actually find distance towards things and then keep track of your spatial awareness for the visually impaired person. So after hours of hacking, we put together this really crude prototype that has a triple camera setup, actually, with one camera is dedicated to face detection, because that's pretty important for these visually impaired people to recognize the friends and family. So I actually can show you the prototype right now. It's a hardware hack, so I got to use this camera. So yeah, here's the main setup. So I have a bigger Raspberry Pi compared to the smaller one that I did for that unwieldy hack. So it's connected to a speaker here, and I have the camera here. So I can show you what it looks like in this demo. I had some images open. So for example, here we have it's all complete on board. We can detect this first image here.
There is a car at 12 o'clock.
So the smart assistant is coming in, and then we'll move to the next picture. Sorry.
There is a person at 12 o'clock, 1 meter away.
So it's tracking the position in front of them, that they are, and the distance, the relative distance. These pictures are on screen.
There is a car at 2 o'clock, 1 meter away in front.
Yeah, so seeing that car to the right a little. Also, this image on this camera is inverted. And then if I move over to the right over there, you can see an actual physical thing in front of me. There's a chair over there. Let me see if I can get it with this. Sorry, my setup is a little bit clunky.
There is a chair at 12 o'clock, 2 meters ahead of you.
Okay, and then for finally the face detection part. So I'll use my partner here, Fiona.
I see Fiona.
Yeah, so it recognizes people, and that's one of the main features. So it'll tell you if there's someone in front of you if you can't see them immediately. And yeah, that's the hack. There's a lot of features that we still want to get done, like actually interacting with the assistant. But currently, at this point, we just have we were only able to get in the assistant talking by itself. So there's actually a microphone installed in this Raspberry Pi, this single board computer over here. That yeah, and we didn't have enough time to train our own model, so we used the standard you only look once version 2 model, which has the couple 20 things classified in it. It was a
All right.
sample one.
Thanks, Raymond. That's time.
Okay.
Wow. That's my comment. Wow. So I'm going to bring the judges back up on stage, and they should have a couple questions for you.
Yep. I'll just rearrange my camera.
Yeah, awesome. I'll take the first question, and I think, Trish, I'm going to echo your sentiments there. That is really wow for the period of time that you saw there. Team Iris, maybe you could tell us a little bit in terms of, what would be your next level as far as driving this a little bit further? Is it obviously narrowing down the prototype to more narrow eyewear glasses, a more wearable format? Is that what you'd have to pursue next?
Yeah, so definitely something that's more usable, because so I put together this thing. The battery, it's an 18650 I just added. We didn't actually use it. It was plugged into the computer, but it uses the idea for the full thing would use open ear headphones, so either bone conduction or like this kind of style. But that way you can keep like conversations that you have with people private. And yeah, like what those two, the two main chips is, let me see. Okay, so it's these two chips, right? So, and they consume actually very little power, because it's plugged into a power bank that's set up right here, and it's been running for like 2 hours, and it still hasn't gone down a bar. So I think it's very possible to get this compact down more, and then creating our own custom circuit board, we can get this into a very, very compact device, like a lot of those competition that we mentioned before, but it has the extra features like Smart Assistant that's connected to the cloud, and the multiple camera setup.
Excellent. Any other questions, judges? We've got room for one more.
I can make a comment. So there's two companies. One, it's utilizing, you can get into like BlackBerry, where they're utilizing their car recognition in the auto sector. So they run a lot of software that does a lot of this, like a Tesla. Yep. So there might be a way to download their API, because they would have so much data that you could utilize that could drive right into your Pi. So it would actually do facial building, everything recognition steps, you could probably hack this so fast and set that up quite quickly. And then there's another Toronto company that is hacking. It's either vision or hearing, but I'd be more than happy to connect you with them. I'm talking to them next week, the founder, the CEO of the company. But it's pretty cool that you've been able to do that. So there's certainly a lot of opportunity and usage. And I remember you won last year or the year before. So
3 years ago.
3 years ago.
3 years ago, there you go, crushing it. I've got a bad memory apparently. But that's all.
Man, you know, I was
Yeah.
debating whether or
Yeah.
not I should have mentioned that, but JP, you have a good memory.
This actually started with self-driving cars. I was thinking about self-driving cars for humans, but you don't really need it. But then I was like, oh, blind people might need something like that. So
No, it's fantastic. There's
Yeah.
a lot of technology going into sticks. So where they're doing to connect, so it's sending feedback into a hearing. So the stick is being used to tell you where you are. So now you can get it direct feedback utilizing the glass. I think that's brilliant. So nice job.
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Alexa
you so
glasses
much,
is probably the
Team
only thing I add to that. Amazon has Alexa glasses, which also deliver some of that smart tech. So I'd probably take a look at that as well.
Yeah, I was actually using AWS Poly for the speech synthesis. So I'm definitely looking at the Amazon stuff.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Team Iris.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We're going to let team number one, that's Team Iris, we'll get them out of the backstage. And we will also send our judges backstage again. And next up on deck is team number two. And the name of this team is Stock Keepers. We may need a couple minutes just to get them on stage. But once again, we're looking at team number two, and that's Stock Keepers. Hi there. Looks like team number two is ready to go. So I'm going to invite the Stock Keepers on stage. Hi there. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. Good to see you again. Awesome. Are you guys all ready to go?
Yep.
Super. So I'm going to hand it over to team two, Stock Keepers.
Stephen, are you sharing your screen?
Yep, I'm just about to share.
Let me know when it's up.
Yep. StreamYard is just a moment. StreamYard's just loading up.
Is it not loading or?
Steven?
Is Steven frozen? Oh, wait. Oh, okay. Never mind.
Uh-oh. Did we lose Stephen? All right.
Uh-oh.
It looks like he's frozen. He's not just sitting super still. Okay. Listen, we know that this is ambitious for a virtual event. We're dealing with Wi-Fi all over the country. So do any of you guys have the presentation to share, or are we going to wait for Stephen to hop on quickly?
Can we just wait like a few seconds for Stephen?
Okay. All right. We'll give you a couple seconds. We'll see if we can get him back on. I'm just going to talk to my producer now. Oh, there he is. Okay. Hey, Stephen.
Just
Welcome back.
about to try and share my screen.
All right. Do you want to give it a go right now?
Yep. Should be good to go now.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay. I guess I can start now. So, hey everyone, we are Stockkeeper, and this is our team. So today we wanted to focus on the topic of inventory management in hospitals.
Hi everyone, my name is Crystal. I'm a registered nurse working in an emergency room in Toronto. And one of the big issues I face at work is finding the supplies I need. Sometimes I spend up to 10 minutes looking through all my storage room just to find a piece of item, only to find out that we actually don't store it on my floor. So then what ended up happening is that I spent even more time calling up different departments to ask if they have a spare of what I need. And this is very frustrating for me as a nurse because I am wasting precious time looking for supply to do my job instead of spending it on my patient. And I am not the only one who faces this problem. So therefore, I think there is a need for improvement in our current medical inventory supply management, because we are wasting time right now on counting and finding supplies and having to manually track expired products. And hospitals also lack full transparency of where their supplies are going, how it's being used, and the demand trend. And this is costly for hospital because medical supplies are their second largest expenditure annually, according to a study conducted by the Canadian Institute for Health Information in 2019. And current supply management system is quite rigid. In terms of work division, staff are stuck doing repetitive tasks that can be automated, and we're not utilizing their skill set in a creative and efficient way.
So there are currently some solutions for supply tracking. There are some tools out there for barcode, RFID tracking, mobile scanning, weight sensors, manual monitoring, etc. However, some limitations with these tools is that they're still time-consuming to use, and it's mostly like a large financial investments for hospitals to use. So that is why we came up with Stockkeeper.ai. It's essentially a tool to help nurses and hospital staff to view their inventory and check location and availability in real time.
Thanks, so now for a demo, I'll paste our URL into the comments. Oh, I can't actually paste into comments. I'll paste into private chat and you can share in the comments. So our URL is live for checking out. You can check out on both the mobile view as well as the desktop view. The demo we'll be showing will be in the desktop view. So now imagine I'm a nurse working at a hospital. I enter our website and I want to see the inventory inside the hospital. So I click the big blue inventory button. And now I can see all the supplies within the hospital on the different floors and the different units. Say now that I'm on the 4th floor and I want to check out what's in 4A respirology or neurology. And instead of walking all the way to the end of the hall to check the room, I could click in and see in live time both the photo of the room as well as the items and the number of quantities in the room. So now there's supplier Frank, supplies the second row. And now it again updates in live time with the new items in the photo as well as the items and the quantities. So now I'll pass it to Stephen, who'll talk more about machine learning algorithm we use to make this happen.
Thanks, Joanna. So our app really allows nurses to save time as well as administrators because they can just open the app, they can go to all the rooms they see, and they're offered a table that shows them the quantity of items that might be available in that room, and also an image that offers a second reassurance to them that what they need will be in the room when they get there. That's very important for saving time and also just keeping track of it because it saves those moments where people have to walk around manually tracking this stuff. So the way it works is we have a data set that we created, scraping images from the web of various medical products. We use this data set to train an algorithm through RoboFlow's AutoML API. Now we select an image. Say we have a image of an empty shelf. And if I run inference on it, you'll see that it does in fact select that empty object over there. And that's great because it allows us to locate that object and then populate our table. And that's what we have over here. These tables are actually populated from the images it finds there. Now I'm going to hand it over to Crystal for the finishing remarks.
Thank you, Stephen. So where do we go from here? So with StockKeeper AI, on an individual level, nurses will have more time spent doing their bedside care. And workers also have increased confidence and trust in their organization to provide them with sufficient supply to provide care. And hospital inventory management will be more efficient. They're able to save more money, and their staff will be happier and more productive. Thus also help with staff retention rate. And if this technology can be used on a provincial level, leaders in the province can have access to a concrete set of data that they can use to support their demand on supply distribution in area of the greatest need. Such time is especially important during a pandemic where some medical supplies are very scarce. And that's the end of our presentation. Thank you so much for listening.
Great. Thank you so much, team number 2. Perfect timing, by the way. That was amazing. I can see totally where this would, save a lot of time for nurses on the floor, for sure. So I'm going to invite the judges back on stage, and they will have a couple of questions for you. All right. Judges, who wants to lead off with a question?
I mean, Tim, you obviously coming from the sector. Maybe you want to start with the first question. I'll lob it over to you.
Yeah, actually, it's in my previous role at West Park Healthcare Center, I was involved with the post-occupancy evaluation of the new center we were building. And we were looking at a number of technologies, and one of them was actually inventory. Because the system that's commonly used now across a lot of hospitals is a just-in-time inventory. So what I really like about this is the ability to leverage artificial intelligence, machine learning, to do a lot of the grunt work that's right now done by several people that have to check that multiple times a day, because it is just in time. Because of course, there's also the cost with overhead of keeping all those materials. That's why we want to go with just in time. My one comment would be, right now there's a number of hospitals that are under construction. West Park Healthcare Center, as I mentioned, is under construction. Ontario Shores will be building the first psychiatric emergency service in Canada in the next 3 years, I think it is. There's a number of others. Brampton, I think, just got approved for a new hospital. So a lot of these hospitals are looking for integrated technologies like Internet of Things to help medication management, inventory, a number of things. So, and one of the big notions now, and you probably heard this, is the command center. Like, so the vision is that hospitals will have a command center or one floor dedicated to technology to manage things inside the hospital, but also to manage things outside the hospital, because we know and we appreciate that the future of healthcare is not brick and mortar. It's about leveraging technologies to keep people in their homes longer, where they're around their family, their informal networks, and they can age in place successfully. So my comment to you would be, think of this not just as one piece, like an inventory system. Think about this as part of a broader technology system in the hospital and even across hospitals, because I could see this connecting with multiple hospitals to manage inventory across acute, across long-term care, across rehab, if that's possible. Now that's kind of like blue sky thinking, but where do you see this as something that could be leveraged to provide management of inventory across multiple centers concurrently?
I think that's I'm not answering from a technology side. I'm answering from a nursing point of view. I think that's something we definitely need to look at, because, as I mentioned, in systemic point of view, the province can actually, if you can roll this out on a provincial level, which means all the system has to be seamlessly integrated. Everyone from like primary care, tertiary care, secondary care institute, they all have access to the same cloud or same network. Then we can the province can leverage this data to negotiate contracts, to ask federal government for more money, for additional resources to add to our inventory supplies. I think Alberta is doing something similar, and that's why they're pretty successful in getting enough supplies for the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah, economies of scale. Could you imagine one procurer for the entire province to cover the entire ecosystem of healthcare?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wow,
Thank
like
you
this
so
is super exciting to me.
Seems like you've sold Tim. Let's try to jump in with one more question.
Yeah, I will ask a hardware question. Obviously, we saw the software demo on it. If you could comment on the hardware implementation, are we putting cameras in? Speak a little bit on that side.
All right, I guess I can answer that question. So if we go back to the slide on what's currently out there in the market, we have barcode systems, IoT weight sensors, manual monitoring, and mobile scanning, right? And the issue with a lot of these is there's costs that are upfront for sure, and then you have the service. And for some of them, the cost upfront can be extremely high. In our service, and what Amazon has done with Amazon Go, we can easily see solutions where you can take a camera that might take $10 or $15 to produce at most, that's just good enough to capture a shelf. You put a couple of those in the center and then hook them up to a central computer that hooks up to an API or a service that we can offer, and you'll get that real-time information. And the goal, of course, is not to be 100% accurate. I mean, if you have a bag of like 500 masks, you might not be able to count every single all 500. But the goal is to ensure that there's just enough stock available at the hospital. So if a nurse goes to that room, they can guarantee that they are going to get something. And for a hospital admin, they want to make sure not just if there's like 500 masks or 499, that might not be as important to them as, say, finding out how much is really left. They probably want to know a bigger difference between, do we have a pack of 500 left, or are we down to maybe like 10 or 15? Because that's when they need to start. That's probably when they're going to start worrying. And we thought about it a lot too. We thought about how can we take this further, and we thought, why not? Like, we could tie in regression models where we could calculate the burn rate of certain products, not just for the week, but for the entire year. And that's what they're doing with things like acquiring flu vaccines. They look at how many people are taking flu vaccines, when it's strongest, and what areas are hardest hit. They can use that information to scale when they need to send products out versus what areas need more attention.
Okay,
Awesome.
fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Team number 2, Stock Keepers. All right, we're gonna get you off stage now. Appreciate your time. Great solution. We're gonna get our judges backstage as well. And we're going to invite team number 3, which is called Ask. Team Ask is due on stage, and that's team number 3. Hello there. Hello, team 3. We're looking for team Ask.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. Good.
Hi, guys. All right. Are you all set to go?
Yeah, we all set.
Yeah. Super. Team 3, Ask.
How can I share my screen?
It's at the bottom center.
Oh, hello. Can we start now? Also, I'm getting some feedback.
Make sure Hopin is closed.
Yeah, so we can see your screen and we can hear you. You're good to go, but that was a good reminder. When you're presenting, just make sure that Hopin is closed. Otherwise, you get some feedback.
Oh, okay. Got it.
All right, so close Hopin, and then we can see your screen and your microphone's good.
Okay. Hi. So we're Team Ask. My name is Simi, and I'll be doing the introduction. So we all know that relationship quality is one of the largest health determinants. So the quality of our relationships can reduce the risk of mortality in diseases and illnesses, specifically in chronic illnesses, mental health conditions, and it can also help prevent them. Well, we also know that sex and relationship education is unequally distributed across the world. Cultural values, gender discrimination, and beliefs that SRE will increase sexual activity in teens and funding are all barriers. So impacts of poor and no SRE can lead to increased risk of unwanted pregnancies and STDs, and also impact the mental health of affected individuals. So current existing SRE around the world require substantial human resources, such as NGOs. So this makes SRE difficult to scale. So which is why we created Chirp as a solution, a private anonymous SRE platform accessible to anyone with internet access. So now Ash will talk about the backend.
Thank you, Simi. So now that Simi has gave you guys a bit of an overview of what our application does, I'll go over the front end. The language that the front end is using is Flutter. Flutter is Google's cross-platform programming language. So you can pretty much run this code on Windows, iOS, Android, Mac, and of course the web browser. The cool thing about the web browser part is that this will allow you to download the application as a PWA. So you can click here. Oops.
Share your screen.
Yeah. So you guys can click here, and then it will allow you to install the application as PWA. And it will run as a native application on whatever device you are on. So maybe it's mobile or even desktop. I will walk you. So what that means is, as long as you guys have an internet connection, you can say hi to Chirp. So you guys can go on this link. Then you click hi Chirp, and that would take you to this page. You can say hi, and Chirp will try and talk to you. All these components that you see, all these bubbles and the typing animation and the quick replies, everything, it's built or coded. It's programmed in a way that it helps you build more features easily. The front end is not as interesting as the back end. And for that, I'd like to introduce my friend, Kenny.
Hi everyone, I'm Kenny, and I'll be showing how we implemented the conversations in Chirp. So we leverage Google's Dialogflow conversation platform, which allows us to create these things called intents. And each intent corresponds to something the user might say. So if we just go to the beginning where they say hi, we can train each intent to use Google's NLP algorithms in order to interpret what kind of inputs the user might give. And through a custom-made payload, we will determine what kind of responses our bot has and display the appropriate options or allow the user to type their displays. However, this is all just boring implementation stuff. Let's look at our flowchart. So far, we've only implemented specific topics on consent and making sure you're comfortable saying no. So this is the flowchart we've designed in our time, and we've implemented most of this into our app. And through numbering each of these boxes in the flowchart, they correspond to each intent, which allows us to implement this conversation. But something that's more interesting about our thing is we did a lot of research on conversation design and biases in different groups. So I will send it back to Simi in order to explain that.
All right, so how did we start the design process? So first we learned the current states of SRE around the globe, and we read studies that talked about the efficiency and opportunities in SRE. So we found that young people want a focus on developing and maintaining healthy relationships that's taught in a way that's affirmative and inclusive to all identities. But studies and reports are not sufficient to help us be user-centric. So we read stories of young people's experiences to help us empathize and also to narrow down our focus.
Hi, Team 3. Sorry, that's your time.
Okay.
5 minutes have expired. Thank you so much for that. It's a really interesting concept. I'm going to invite the judges on stage, and I'm sure they'll have a couple of questions for you. All right, so I'll hand it over to the judges.
Hello.
Hey.
Absolutely. Thanks, Team 3. I think we got the beginning of what could be a very interesting application here. Maybe you could just take a little bit of time here, maybe 30 seconds, to explain what is your target a little bit here, and what is the problem you're trying to solve. I know you started to get into that a little bit, but maybe you could expand for us to get a better picture.
So we are targeting young people, specifically from the ages of 12 all the way to their mid-20s. And we are solving the issue of people having trouble with saying no and defining their boundaries to create healthy relationships. And all of that it's all related to like mental health, right? So if we don't have healthy relationships, we'll feel lonely, we'll feel isolated, we'll feel like unsupported. And that can, deepen into like depression or anxiety. So what we're doing is being a preventative solution to,
Yeah, and I think it's very, very interesting. So is the intent that as a user within your demographic, I would download the app that would give me maybe tips and tactics on how to deal with real life relationships?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
So there will be many exercises for the user to walk through and practice. So it's not something that's really challenging, and it's not something that you just read and sort of understand theoretically, but you actually get to, look at examples and also contribute. Like you can actually type in your response.
Yeah, and we think it's really nice because it's all anonymous, so it allows the user to be as open as they want without being afraid. We're not collecting any data that was personal to the user that would like make them feel like they can't share what they want. And because we've only had like around 24 hours, we've only been able to implement the feature of saying no, like that type of conversation dialogue, but we hope to expand it to many other things to do with different races, genders, and other issues.
Yeah, I also spoke to a friend because she has had experiences with being assaulted, and she hasn't actually shared it with anyone at that moment beyond like a very, very close friend. So when these situations happen to people, like the first thing that they feel is, I don't want to share it with other people because I feel bad and I feel responsible for what's happened. So I think that it's more like, we think that it's more likely that people will seek out anonymous sources to, just talk about their experience and to get some tips. Yeah.
I think it's very important. And the last question, judges, I hope you don't mind if I take the last one, but you mentioned the importance of recognizing cultural differences as part of your framework. Could you expand on that a little bit?
So sex is not something that is spoken across all cultures on equal terms. So in a lot of cultures, such as Asian cultures, they view sex as something that's very vulgar and we shouldn't talk about it. So how do we frame that in a way that, that allows people to be a little bit more open? I think that's what we are also focusing on.
So currently, we asked the user at the beginning for some really quick demographic information. It's not stored, but it's used by the bot. And in the future, we're hoping to be able to use that information to incorporate different types of dialogue depending on the demographic of the user that fits them, like such as their gender orientation, or sex orientation and their culture.
Yeah, we also really wanted to bring in LGBTQA content in here because that's also something that we found that is missing in the current sex and relationship education.
Okay, thank you very much, team number 3. A really interesting idea for sure, and there's definitely a need. JP, you have a question?
More of a comment. So it's kind of an educational-based system, and you should get your friend to report because they shouldn't be hiding that in secret. So just as an FYI, that's not a good thing.
All right, thank you so much, JP, and thank you so much, team 3. Great idea, and it's amazing to see the range of ideas that are out there at this hackathon. So really appreciate your time. We're going to send everyone backstage right now. We do have a bit of breaking news in that we have team number 4 that has withdrawn from the competition. So I want to make sure that our judges are aware of that so that they are entering the appropriate scores into the scorecard. So next up will actually be team number 5, and their team name is Rock Bottom. So on deck, we have team number 5, Rock Bottom. All right, and we're back. Before I invite team number 5 on stage, I do want to remind everyone, all of our participants, that we do have a social media prize pack up for grabs. So we'd love it if we could hear from you on any of your social channels. Remember to use our official hashtag, which is bodyhack. And of course, do remember to tag GeekSpeak. You'll see all of our handles in the top left of your screen. So again, the official hashtag is bodyhack. And at this point, I'm going to invite team number 5 called Rock Bottom. So team number 5. Hi, guys.
Hi. Hi.
How you doing?
All right. So my name is Leon Chow, and I'm representing us for Team 5 today. And so our intuition or our problem that we're seeking to solve is that sort of me and my team members and also my friends, we've noticed that it's with the current pandemic going on, it's quite difficult to, obviously exercise. And I actually started exercising right when the pandemic began. And I found that it was pretty hard to sort of know if I was doing the exercise properly. I would be watching the videos on YouTube and trying to find guides to see if I was doing it properly. But at the end of the day, it was pretty difficult to still gauge to see if I was doing it right or wrong. So our solution seeks to address these problems by using machine learning to basically track and compare your structure and your sort of body movement while you're doing the exercise with a professional. We know that it's very important to get these exercises done correctly, because obviously if you're not doing the exercise properly, then you're going to find that you might even suffer more pain than before, because some people exercise to sort of try to feel physically better. And if you're not doing these exercises properly, then you'll notice that you'll start feeling some uncomfortableness. Okay, so yeah, could I get help with the screen share? Okay, so basically this is our app, which is called WeFit. And as you can see right now, I'm on the dashboard. And so this is the main page. This is where you get the feed, and this is where like you see suggestions on based on what you've been trading, sort of with the professional. Well, technically you're not with the professional, but you're sort of comparing a pre-recording or even a photo of yourself working out. And so this is like the recent feed that you get based on what you've been training. And so if I scroll down, we can see some of these best posture techniques and sort of these tips and tricks. And if we go to sort of train, we can choose which exercise that we want to choose. And right now, we only have these exercises supported. We're looking to try to add more in the future if we do decide to work on this. And for example, I'll show you push-up. And so I'm going to click on push-up right now, and we notice that there's no image selected. So I'm going to take a picture and try to take a good posture picture. And so I'm going to take this right now and send. Yep, so let's use this picture. And we noticed, like, obviously this wasn't a picture of what I took, but in an ideal situation, we would use machine learning and sort of basically, we've taken a look at MLFit and sort of the Flutter libraries that goes with machine learning. But right now, sort of this is what we ideally want to show. And as you can see, the key features for the exercises is pointed out. We can see the boxes drawn, and sort of we could even see the accuracy of the professional versus your posture, and we see that there's a 25% accuracy matching in this picture. So if I just do another one such as squats, and let's take another picture, we can see that, oh, if I hit okay, yep, we can see that the sort of the key features again, and sort of this person's doing it correctly versus this incorrect posture. And we notice that we have the mappings. And again, we see your posture and the accuracy. And then again, yeah, 30%. And then we have this other tab after you've sort of taken these pictures and you've found out sort of trying to improve on your posture percentage. If we go to people, we can see that, oh, look, I'm on the list with these few other guys. And basically the blue would be representing you, and the red would be representing like the overall percentage of how good that you have performed versus how good that you, again, using the percentage as a measure of accuracy. Yep. And so that's people, that's, yeah, these are the different exercises that we have supported. And yeah, that's just the main feed. And of course, due to time constraints and complications, we ran into quite a few problems, but in an ideal situation, this is how this app would function. Thank you.
Super. Thank you, Leon. Thank you, team number 5. I'm going to invite the judges on stage. We have the judges back. I'm sure you've got a few questions. Who wants to take the lead on this one, judges?
I think user experience is a critical component of any successful product. And maybe you can expand on the user experience, because it wasn't clear to me, like I'm trying to exercise, what am I mounting my phone on a stand, or, you know, it's hard to take a picture of my body when I'm taking a selfie. It didn't seem very like flowing to me to be able to use an app on my phone to help me exercise, to get an exercise form correctly.
Yeah, it's a great question. And I guess sort of since we're still prototyping and we're still thinking about how it would really work, ideally the person would sort of have they'd have, I mean, yeah, you would basically mount the phone, and you'd kind of do a timing on the picture, and you basically would, or even, you would do that. So you would have to mount it and sort of time yourself. And of course, even after the pandemic, this would still be helpful, such as if you have a family member or someone help you take a picture, they could take the picture for you, and then you could still use this picture to compare how you and your friends do.
Great. Thank you, Leon. Any other questions, judges?
Sorry, Tim, you're going to jump in?
You're on mute.
So I love the concept. It just happens my master's is in exercise physiology, so this kind of stuff really piques my interest. But I also spent 10 years in home and community care. Now, I see this app as being great for someone, you know, private that just has an interest in exercise. It would be really, one of the challenges to take this technology and introduce it into healthcare The challenge would be to solve the liability issue. So, like when I was in home and community care, we looked at a number of autonomous exercise interventions, types of things that patients could use to support themselves in the community. But we would never. I can't even think of an example where we endorsed something, because we didn't want to endorse something where there's a potential for liability that would then come back and land on us. So I think it's great for individual use of someone that might want to download this, if you can sort out the issues with where the camera is going to be and all that kind of stuff. But if you could break into the healthcare sector, that would be like really something, right? Because again, with the aging population and the focus of the home and community care on aging in place, or essentially aging in their own home, these are the kind of technologies that are going to have to be developed and made available to people to help them maintain their health and wellness and quality of life in the home. So if you could figure out how to crack into that, I think you'd have a really, really good product.
Yeah, great. Thank you. And yeah, you did make a lot of good points on sort of, I guess, for a personal user, I mean, I guess it's easy for them to use it, but in terms of, like, for example, if it's used in different organizations or different people, then you kind of have to sort of figure this out. So yeah, thank you for that feedback, and thanks for sort of offering up the advice for that.
Okay, super. Thank you so much, team number 5. That's Team Rock Bottom. Thank you. All right, so we're going to clear the stage one more time. And of course, next up is team number 6, and they are called Fair Access. So we're gonna just have team number 6 get ready backstage. Once again, another reminder that social media prize pack is up for grabs, so keep posting, everybody. Team number 6 is up next. All right, hi everyone, we are back. Next up is team number 6, as promised. So I'm just gonna invite them on stage. Hi, team 6. This is the team from Quebec. Hi guys, good to see you again. All right, I'm gonna hand it over to you, team 6, Fair Access.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to close my Hopins. Okay, hi. So, hi. We are the team Fair Access. We are indeed a team of students from Quebec. And today we're here to talk to you about literacy in healthcare. So as of today, as we speak, there is 55% of Canadians that do not have a high enough health literacy level to navigate through the healthcare system. And that has a huge impact on their health. As you see, people with lower health literacy have 3 times more likely to return to the hospital for an illness that they already consulted for than people with higher health literacy. And that is often because patients won't tell their doctors that they don't quite understand what they're saying, and because doctors often fail to recognize the lack of health literacy among their patients. And this is a quite common issue in healthcare, but it is not often addressed. And so here we are presenting the My Literacy app and webpage that is a tool to make a new approach to patient care to help with the sensibilization of healthcare professionals to be able to adjust their interventions with the public. So we designed a 3-step concept. The first step would be a quick screening test that the patient would do in the waiting room with simple questions on health literacy and general literacy as well, that would generate a score and put them in and kind of assess the literacy level of the patient. And that level would be transmitted to the medical professional that would then be able to adapt their intervention accordingly. And lastly, the patient would receive instructions adapted to their level of literacy as well. May that be prescriptions written with images or both. So that's all fun, but how does it really work? So firstly, if we take a look at the screening test, we can go to our webpage, log in. It is a login. And if we go to our literacy screening, we can see here we have some questions. I'm not going to go through them all. I'm just going to answer some of them. And that is five question test. So it's quick and easy for general literacy. And then we have a slightly longer test for health literacy. And when we finished, we have to enter the password. Don't mind me. And we get a result. And that result is only visible by the health professional. So the secret is kept. And that result is then given to the medical professional. And with that result, you see some tips and tricks on how to address and how to adjust the intervention. Then the medical professional can also go on his side and generate some instructions. And now to generate instructions, for example, if I want to do a prescription, I want to prescribe some Lipitor, and I want the patient to take it at lunchtime, and I want 1.5 pills. I'll go generate this, and it'll generate me a QR code. And that QR code we can give to the patient, and the patient with an app that will be previously given to him will be able to match it. Now for the app, I will invite my colleague Daniel to share his screen and tell us about it.
Yeah, perfect. So once the QR code is generated from the website, what the patient has to do is take a photo of the QR code with his phone and implement it on his app. Just take it on his applications. So for the example here, I'm just going to take a random QR code we generated via file. And this is an example of what kind of interface we would show to the patient with literacy difficulties. So in this case, the patient would have to take 1.5 pills in the morning if he can't read the text next to it. So this is what we have in mind for the application. So I'll hand it back to Elizabeth for the conclusion.
Thank you, Daniel. So here are some examples of pictograms we could use. And right now, this app is generating pictures for amount of pills and time to take them. But we wish in the future to include even more information for the patients as side effects, contraindications, and maybe alarms to remind people to take their medications on time. I think we...
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. So that was Team 6, Fair Access. Thank you for that education on healthcare literacy. I'm going to invite the judges back on stage. Okay, we're all there now. I'll hand it over to the judges for some questions.
Awesome. Mark, do you want to go first this time?
Sure. My comment would be around, and I guess it's a question too, but around so when you create a value proposition and create value for the user, you have multiple users of your platform. You have the patients and you have the doctors, and then of course there's going to be pharmacists involved and many other health professionals. And so It was questioning to me whether the doctor who's prescribing the medication has the time to adapt the instructions on a per individual basis. Like it might need to be categorized. How does your system automate that? Like,
Yeah, I think I can answer that one. So basically, the little prescription page that you saw filled in, it's then transferred into image and text automatically. So the only part that is transferred that the doctor has to fill in is the 3 boxes you saw there, and the QR code that it is generated in the app will generate the image appropriate by a system we designed the QR code ourselves to have the information we need. So the type of pills, we loaded the pictures in previously. So like you have a bank of picture and we choose in that bank to inform the patient of what he has to choose.
Okay, so it's specifically focused on medication, not other health advice.
Well, currently it's only medication, but we hope we could expand it to other devices as well.
Yeah, I think sorry, Alex, go ahead.
I love this idea. I think it has a lot of potential. And just to follow up on the last point, I think I can tell you right now, physicians are not going to add an additional step to their follow-up. But what they will do is they'll enter information into their electronic health record, whatever that is. At Ontario Shores, for example, we use Meditech. Now, if your product could interface with a Meditech or whatever the electronic health record is, the vendor that the given hospital is using, then I think this has a lot of potential. It helps with health literacy, which is a massive issue. I can't tell you how big of an issue that is. The language barrier, the integration of the informal caregiver to support that patient, because then they can use that as well. And maybe even they could have an app on their phone to see what their husband, wife, grandmother is supposed to be doing. I think it has massive potential, but I can tell you physicians, well, not even physicians, pharmacists, occupational therapists, nurses, they won't do that extra step. It is a massive challenge to get clinicians to enter data. But if you could crack that nut where it integrates with the electronic health record, then I think this has massive potential.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what I was trying to wrap my head around, who the target should be. Is it the pharmacist? Is it the physician?
Yeah.
But I think, Tim, that articulation of it being an amazing add-on. So when you get to your printout from the pharmacy, there's also a QR code you could actually scan to actually interpret that. I think maybe the way to go. Because I can't read pharmacist writing, let alone trying to understand what it is. Maybe it is that hook there.
Does it go all the way down to the actual user, like the person taking the pills? Because the big issue that comes out of it is that a lot of people don't take their medication. They don't know when to take it or how to take it. So that becomes a lacking issue. There's been products developed where using IoT networks, alerting family members so that the family members can ensure that they're calling the person taking the pills to make sure they're taking them. So there's probably a whole system here that could be designed to be a little bit more succinct with the doctor taking from the beginning all the way to the consumer taking the pill.
Okay, excellent. Well, one thing I'm really excited about, the fact that we're virtual this year, we're able to get participants all the way from Quebec. So thank you guys so much for registering and participating. That's fantastic. And thank you so much for presenting. We're gonna send everybody backstage now. Appreciate it. Okay, so next up, we have team number 7. We're gonna get the judges backstage again and make way for team number 7 that's on deck. And the name of team number 7 is Hilika. So we'll get them ready backstage. Hi there. All right, on deck, we've got team number 7, and we're looking for Hilika. Team number 7. Hey,
Hi.
guys. How are you?
Good. How are you doing today?
Good, good. Are you ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, super. I'm going to hand it over to you guys.
Sure.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank
you. Share my screen. Okay. Okay, let's get started now. So we are Team Hilika, your companion to happiness. So our team consists of Faizan Sheikh, Aslam Noorani, myself, who are product analysts and UX designers. We also have with us Anas Magi, who gives business sense to the product. Did you know, shockingly, 1 out of every 5 American adults live with a mental wellness issue? So the problem we are trying to solve is for the people who develop stress, anxiety, and depression due to daily life struggles and who don't have any means to manage their daily routines for well-being. Now let's meet Lisa. Lisa is a 35-year-old working woman who has 1 child in preschool and is doing homeschool due to COVID situation. She is also financially stressed. Lisa wants to feel more confident, feel happy, and have sense of purpose. Now you might be wondering, what does Hilika do in this situation? Hilika provides a one-stop service for tracking and improving Lisa's mental well-being. So our 2-tiered solution provides personalized challenges, including physical activities, meditation, and frameworks. If the situation is very severe, we also connect Lisa with professionals and steer our platform away from all the liabilities of recommending medical solutions. Lisa has been using Hilika for a while now, and she feels confident, is working productively, and is able to cope with day-to-day life stresses. Now let's take a look at the user journey of Lisa with Hilika. During onboarding, Lisa gets insights about our physical activities, guided meditation, and interactive frameworks. Once she gets the insight, the platform will prompt her to answer certain questions, which will determine the severity of her mental well-being. Once she answers these, Hilika will then analyze her information and prompt her to sign in. She can enter her information like username, email ID, and password, and then sign up for the platform. Here, she will be asked for the objectives or the goals she is seeking. For example, reducing stress, increasing happiness, or reducing anxiety. Once she clicks on her objective, here in this user case, reducing stress, she will be given daily routines include all the 3 aspects like physical activities, meditation, and interactive frameworks. On her dashboard, she can track her happiness over the period of time, and also she can see the badges she has collected. This was giving badges to people on having certain accomplishments was to gamify the entire user experience. Also, we are also the user can share the data with their friends to see where they are standing. But we are also taking into account the aspect of privacy, where the user can only share what they intend to and not everything with the other users. If Lisa feels that she wants to get connected with a professional, she can also get that on our platform, where she can get connected with a therapist. Initially, the platform will ask certain questions like what is her gender preference, where's she located, and her age, and then it will give certain recommendations for the professionals who are available according to our preferences. Also, Hilika has a chatbot option which is smart and gives responses based on Lisa's needs. Now, moving on, you might be wondering, what does it cost? No wonder that it only costed Lisa a couple of coffees and 1 donut. This price was benchmarked with the competition to be more realistic. Lisa is not alone in this battle of happiness. There are 145 million Americans who have same struggles every day. We also looked into the competition who is addressing this problem. We believe that Helica will be able to better solve Lisa's problems because of our personalized frameworks, guided meditation, and physical exercise planner. Also, we track users' data and provide them with badges. This creates customer lock-in and also gives Helica a sustainable competitive advantage. We intend to grow our users to 3.1 million by end of year 3 by benchmarking it with competition, where we found the growth rate is 47%. Also, our customer acquisition cost reduces from $47 to $35 by the end of year 3. To get your own true companion to happiness, you can contact us at the below email. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Helica. I love the price point of 2 coffees and a donut. All right, I'm going to invite the judges back on stage. Judges? All right. You guys ever heard of prices and coffees and donuts? I'm loving that. All right, I'm going to hand it over to you. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I love the pricing model. I know this is an interesting space, and there's a lot of product that we all trying to deal without just in. Let's talk about the content in the middle there. Once I sign up, there's a number of things where you talk about exercise, you talk about meditation, things of the nature. How are you going to actually build that out? Are you bringing in experts? Like if I sign up, is there somebody coaching me through my physical journey? Talk a little bit about that.
Okay, so to answer that question, the frameworks or the guided practices which we have taken in research until now were all from reputed psychological journals. So to add this, we are only going, we don't have any professionals on our platform right now, but as it grows, to increase the credibility of our content, we might also bring in. For now, it's from the research from the psychological papers.
Yeah, I'm thinking that if I want to be using Helica for my meditation practice, and I've spent time a few times in yoga, and so I know it's not easy. Is that I want to know that there's somebody who knows what they're doing to actually help me feel better, to lead me through that process.
Yeah, and I would add, Isaac, similarly, since they are the pricing model they use is a subscription-based model, that the content will be very important because people will not stay a subscriber unless you have fresh, live, updated content. So, similar to many of the health apps today, whether it's Peloton or meditation apps like Calm or these apps, they're always having professionals like Isaac mentioned involved in providing fresh content that people are feeling the value for that subscription price. If that's, since you did bring up the unique and humorous the pricing model. I know you put $14.99 a month or whatever it was on the screen, but I really enjoyed hearing you say 2 donuts, a donut and 2 coffees for a health app. So
I'll follow up with one question. So on the other side of the model, you do have the psychiatrist and this director of locating.
Yes.
Is the intent that as a therapist, I sign up to be part of Helica, or is that just like an open directory that you direct somebody to? Is there monetization on that side?
Yeah, so it's a very interesting question, and I think we were pondering upon this to monetize that aspect or no. For now, since we are not clear on what are the liabilities we are associated with, we felt like it will just be a directory where we will direct the customers to look into it and choose based on their needs instead of us recommending it. If something goes wrong, probably we are also liable to that. Just to steer away from all the liabilities, we are only going to direct them to a directory. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Super. Thank you, Team Helica. Loved your presentation. All right, we're going to send everybody backstage once again. Okay. On deck next is team number 8, and they are called MedSpace. So that's team number 8, MedSpace. We're going to have them head over to the backstage. Okay, so team number 8 is ready. So we're just going to pull them on stage. So we've got team number 8 called MedSpace. Hi, team 8.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good.
Ready
How
to
are
go?
you?
Good, thanks.
Yeah.
All right. So if you're ready to go, I'm going to hand it over to you. All right.
Yeah. Am I sharing screen right now? You guys see?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, let's get started.
All right. Hi, my name is Alicia Diokno.
Mike Rostaki.
Also Tommy. And our fourth member is named Vidhi Patel. And we're here to talk to you about our app called MedSpace.
So the problem that we decided to tackle is the inability to provide proper and effective healthcare to patients with multiple unrelated issues at a time due to the one issue per visit guideline family physicians may follow in Canada. So the reason this is a problem is because patients with multiple issues aren't always able to get more than one issue addressed within one visit. Doctors who choose to address multiple issues can end up overrunning their hours and extending wait time for other patients. And doctors don't even get to bill these additional issues that they address because Canada follows a fee-for-service billing system. So the effect this has on doctors is that the individual appointment time can increase. So on average, it's 11 minutes for a primary care visit, and any additional problem is extends the appointment by around 3 minutes. And on average, patients bring 3 concerns per visit. So that's an additional 6 minutes per visit per patient. So you can see how this can add up over time and cause strains on the doctors. And doctors already face a resource crunch due to the ongoing healthcare cuts. And because of the current billing structure, they aren't even able to compensate themselves properly. And this can just put a strain on the entire system overall. So the effect that this has on the patients is that setting a limit on the number of issues they can bring up it brings about a hesitation from the patient side. So there's something called doorknob syndrome that's talked about in the medical world, where as soon as the patient's about to leave and their hand's on the doorknob, that's when they think about additional issues. So let's say that they have, we actually found a personal anecdote where someone said that they were experiencing chest pains, but they already were at the end of their appointment and they weren't able to discuss that with their primary care physician. And later on, they ended up passing away due to a heart attack. So if there had been some sort of intervention or there had been resources from the physician's side, then maybe that could have been avoided. And from the physician's point of view, if they're in an area where the average age that they're treating is higher than the rest of Canada, then they will have patients bringing 3 to 4 issues up in their appointments. So as you can see, this is an issue that plagues physicians and patients alike.
So with this problem affecting many different health professionals and many different types of patients, we wanted to hone in our solution to target family doctors in Ontario specifically who have multiple patients but want to be able to give as much time and attention to them, and also patients who want to bring up multiple issues but want to stay in communication with just their trusted family physician. So the solution we propose for this problem is an app that allows patients an opportunity to bring up additional concerns between the time they book the appointment and when they're scheduled to come in. And additionally, this app will also allow doctors to place patients in a queue for a virtual consultation at a later time for any issues not addressed in person. So the reason why this would be a bit unique is that the patients are given a space and opportunity to bring up all these extra issues, and they don't feel like they are not able to bring up all of their issues. And from the doctor's perspective, getting that information ahead of time, they're better able to triage which issues they should talk about and prioritize, and which issues they could push back to a later time. Additionally, having a later consultation, a virtual consultation, they would be able to bill the in-person and virtual sessions separately.
So I'm just going to go through a quick demo of what our app will look like. So here's the front page. You can register as either a patient or a health professional. With a patient, you have your unique health card number. A health professional would have their unique OHIP billing number. And so once you actually make the account, you can connect with health professionals as a patient by inputting a 7-digit key that the clinic will give you. And then in the main page, you can see all your different appointments that are booked, the time. You can also see in the calendar. And then you can actually go into each appointment and edit. And here you're prompted, here you can see all the issues that you want to bring up. And here you're prompted to add any additional issues. And it's up to the healthcare provider to decide which ones will be addressed in the main appointment. And for the later telehealth appointments, you have a waiting room here. And through this, we can video call the health professional and actually have them be billed or have them bill for the extra appointments. And then you can have your other issues addressed. And so thank you for listening to our presentation, and we're open to any questions.
Super. Thank you so much, Team MedSpace. You highlighted a really important problem, actually, especially now in the pandemic where most people don't want to go to the doctor's office. So when you do go, you want to get everything out there in one visit. So I'm going to invite the judges back on stage. And judges, just as a heads up, once we get everybody back in place, we're getting some feedback from the audience tuning in that we're getting some echoing. So if you are not speaking, we're just going to ask you to mute. So who would like to take the lead on asking questions this time around?
I'll go first. So I love the concept. The one thing I really like is how you've integrated the telehealth component. Because I can tell you, we've seen our telehealth numbers go through the roof. CBT, for example, cognitive behavior therapy, eCBT. The numbers, I think it was February 2020. I think we had something like 300 events that month. February 2021, we had something like 5,200, from 300 to 5,200. So people are definitely moving to e-platforms for digital healthcare. So it's great the way you integrated that. I think that's going to be key for the success of a solution like this. My big question is, how are you going to get all the docs on board?
I guess by their incentive is that they're able to address multiple issues and they're able to bill it separately, so they get to get more billable hours. So let's say you're a physician in Sudbury, you can maybe take on more patients in Toronto where family physicians are more in a bind. So for them, it's more billable hours, and for patients, the incentive is that they get to get the care that they want to receive.
And I'd also like to add just that that it would be up to the practices, like if it's a family doctor that has their own clinic, it'd be up to them to implement this app and tell their patients about it. So that's who we would sort of inform about it, because that way they can address multiple issues, but then also manage their time better by pushing people with maybe issues that don't need to be in person, pushing them to telehealth, and also allowing them to bill those as separate appointments, and again, not cut into the wait time of any other patients.
And the reason why that may be attractive to some other doctors is that there are, there's a little bit of feedback from someone, background noise, but.
Sorry, if any of you have Hopin open, you might want to close it. That causes the feedback loop. So if you just want to keep StreamYard open.
Yeah, so why it would be attractive to some doctors is that there are some doctors who do want to be able to spend that extra time, and unfortunately they would end up suffering because they're not getting the revenue that they need to keep their clinic running. So in the end, they'd be like suffering for putting in more care and effort because they would not be getting the proper compensation if they do spend extra time on their patients, rather than splitting up the sessions to like what needs to be in person and something that can be done virtually.
Okay. If I could just tag on to that, how do you see or foresee your system fitting in with the current intake system that doctors have? And I don't know if you'll have this answer at this point, but are there a lot of different systems that our doctors are using? Is there a single one that's used across Ontario they could very quickly tie your system into? How does the current system work with what you're proposing?
So we had talked to some of the mentors about that, and there's one mentor that was the director at the Lake Ridge Hospital. So they kind of said that currently there's two solutions. There's Maple, if you've heard of it, so that connects you to a doctor privately. But in terms of a solution like this, it would be per clinic. So it would be the family doctors within a clinic that this product would be advertised to. So it's kind of up to them to build the data, like the database would be dedicated to that. So it would be like a solution that's customized for each clinic. So currently, other than that, we haven't seen anything, at least to our knowledge, there's no system in place for this type of feedback or connection between patient and doctor prior to an appointment.
There's a bunch of different solutions out there that have been created to queue people when they're going into an office, and they all work in different fields. There isn't one that just works into one space. One thing you might want to look at is, because there's a lot of different systems, you could build an API into each of these systems and become a concierge for all of these systems, so that you would have one platform that you go into. I type in my problem, I type in my doctor, it already figures out where it's got to go. I have 6 problems. It will actually determine if 4 of them can be discussed in one event. And then it just creates everything as events. And you use AI to determine how all of these things would sync, because some of them would be a 1-minute problem, but you could determine that because as people record content, you'd actually be able to determine how long each of these solutions are being solutioned, which then will allow your system to dictate how much time is needed by the doctor for each event. So a concierge service might be something to look into that would get you in there faster in the door and allow you to API into all of the systems that each one of these different facilities are using, from healthcare, dentists, all the way across. And then you go into one platform to book. Something to keep in mind, but it's pretty cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, team number 8. That's MedSpace. Appreciate your time. Thank you so much. We're going to get you off stage now. And judges, thank you for muting. It apparently helped. So just unmute whenever you need to jump in on the next round. We'll see you soon. Next up on deck is team number 10. So we're going to be calling team number 10 named Civitas. So we'll give them a couple of minutes to get on stage. All right. Hello again, everyone. So on deck, we've got team number 10. So that's team Civitas. So I'm going to invite team number 10. Hi there.
Hi.
Hello. Is anyone else joining us on screen?
It's actually just going to be us two.
Okay. All right. Super. I'll hand it over to you guys.
Okay.
I will share my screen. Hey, hi everyone. My name is Lily, and my team built a collaborative workout app called Civitas. So here's a short video to introduce you to our app.
Coronavirus has heavily impacted almost every crevice of our lives. In August 2020, 53% of US adults reported that their mental health has been negatively impacted due to the worry and stress over coronavirus. This is significantly higher than the 32% reported in March 2020. Many are experiencing feelings of isolation as social amenities are closed. Along with this, quarantine has us stuck inside, unable to work out at our gyms, practice with our teams, and socialize in classes. Doctors have suggested we exercise throughout lockdown to maintain our health and for the release of endorphins. But it can be hard to stay motivated when we're stuck inside and don't know the next time we can see our friends. The solution to this is Civitas. Civitas enables you to work out with others, following a YouTube video or creating a custom workout plan. Stay motivated, stay fit, and socialize all at the same time. Ease some of that panic because there's a cue and timer to let you know what workout you're doing and the next to follow. Live transcriptions enable the hearing impaired to get in on the fun. There's no need to work out your eyes. Dark mode takes care of that. Coronavirus has
So for remote working out, we actually face quite a few challenges. One of the biggest challenge is that the existing video chatting platforms are missing the workout focus features. If you want to work out and follow a YouTube video with friends over a video call, it's really hard to synchronize when to start the video. And if you want to make your own workout plan or follow a plan that your friend make, it's if the person leading the workout lags, or it's really hard to know the progress of the workout and which exercise that will come up next. And there's also no way to share a timer or a countdown to keep track of the progress of each exercise you're doing in your workout plan. So Civitas actually take care of all of those issues. You're able to stay fit while connecting with people. We have a synchronized timer and cue for everyone within the room. You're able to customize your own workout and share that with people. And you can also follow your favorite YouTube workout routines.
Okay, so how do we differ from the rest of the workout apps? So a workout app, for example, could be Peloton. There are live instruction-led sessions that could be spin classes, boxing classes, etc. In Civitas, anyone can be an instructor. It isn't restricted by any paywall or expense. Simply bring your friends and work out. Our target audience could be friends that want to work together, sports teams, workout classes, or even entrepreneur level events. Lily will now introduce you to our live demo.
So this is the home screen of our app. User will have two options. The first one is to join an existing room, and the second one is to create a room. And I will show you the create room flow. You can enter a room title and optional password. We have some default workout plans you can choose from, or if you would like to, you can create your own workout. And this is the room code you can share with your friends so they can enter the room you've created. And now select workout number 2 here. And Matt, would you like to join me?
Hello, I'm here.
Matt's video is broken, so we can't see him. But here we have a list of exercises that we imported from the previous page, from the workout plan we've selected. Here's a progress bar on the progress of the workout. This is a cue, so it will finish up the exercise and the next one will pop up. And then you can pause and resume the workout anytime you want. And Matt and I will be seeing the same screen. The second functionality our app offers is to follow a YouTube video. So here, you can enter a YouTube video link, and everyone within the room are able to watch the same video and to follow the same routine, and it's all synchronized.
Hey guys, it's your girl Lisa Lewis. I'm
And you can pause and
on the mat with my butt.
Resume the video anytime you want. And the changes are also reflected in the chat bar here, where you can also talk to your friends and whoever's in this room. And yeah, so this is our app. If you're curious, we have a prototype here You can check it out.
Amazing. Thank you so much, team number 10, Civitas. Did I say it correctly this time? Sorry about that. So that's Team Civitas. That's pretty cool. You can work out with your friends so you can continue to motivate each other, right? So let's get the judges back on stage. Judges, okay. Who wants to go first? JP, I know it was tough for you to get in on the last round, so do you want to kick it off? You're on mute, sorry.
For sure. So on the way the product is currently set up, is it structured to have, you have to set up your own kind of camera and gym, or is it done through an iPad? How do you set everything up so that you can connect with all of your teammates or whomever you're going to work out with? And do you have randomized trolling, I guess, so that it'll just find someone that's kind of like you to work out with?
Right now, it's not so much like you join like a public room. It's more so like creating private rooms to work out with friends. In terms of setting up, it's sort of like how you would set up a home workout with friends, like a Zoom workout or something, for example. You'd sort of have a computer or phone or whatever device you use that has a video call. Or if you don't have a video call, that works too. But yeah.
Okay, cool. Sorry, Isaac, you're on mute also.
Well, sorry, you told us to mute, so we did.
Well, you got to unmute when you want to.
You got to tell us to unmute. I was just saying that I love the simplicity of the app, and sometimes it's those that kind of just do what they're supposed to work well. I like to use the example of Clubhouse, which is just working so phenomenal. And this time and space where we're trying to do the things we used to do, I see where this might be able to fit. It borrows from some obviously existing platforms that are already out there, but kind of gives a different angle with it, which is kind of unique. So people are familiar, but it's also new at the same time. To that point, though, do you see extending this? And nobody knows how long we're going to be in this state, but do you see the opportunity to extend this beyond the current state to have a more collaborative platform for teams to train and people to work out together?
Yeah, for sure. I think our app actually can be extended beyond the pandemic and beyond remote working and like remote situation right now. So let's say I have a friend across the country and I'd like to work out with them. And this platform actually allows you to do that. And for like even workout classes that someone's not be able to attend the day of, like let's say the commute is really long or emergency happens and you can just tune in remotely. Actually, I think it opens up a lot more opportunity just beyond the pandemic.
Right. And I think there's some of that ability to bring in the video content is what may make it different from Zoom, because I'm not just running a Zoom. I could actually schedule and do some of those things. I think that's what you're saying as well.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's really cool. Thanks, guys.
Great. Thank you so much, Civitas. All right, we're going to clear out the stage again. And next up, we have team number 11. And team number 11 is HospiFix. So we're going to get team number 11 backstage. We'll be back soon. Okay. Hi, everyone. We're back with team number 11. So next up, we've got HospiFix, team number 11. Hi there. Hello.
Good afternoon. Good evening.
Yeah. How are you doing?
Pretty good, thank you.
Is anyone joining you on stage? Okay.
Another one, yes.
Hi, everyone. We're back with team number 11. So next up, we've got HospiFix, team number 11. You could close hop in because we're going to get a loop going. So if you have hop in, yeah. How are you doing?
Pretty good, thank you.
Is anyone?
Okay, is this better?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Just keep hopping close so we don't get that loop.
Gotcha.
Are you guys ready to go now? Yep. Okay, I'll hand it over to you, team number 11.
All right, good evening, everyone. We are Team 11 called HospiFix. We're here to fix your sick tools. My name is Charmaine, and my teammates are Jillian Stephens, Chris Kin, Nagarjun Ratnesh, and Kihun Joy. So during a Friday night shift, Nicole, a nurse in the ER, realized that the hospital bed brake aren't working properly. So having a hospital bed that's not working properly, this poses as a safety risk to her next patient, and so this bed cannot be used until repaired. Unfortunately, the next patient has to wait until a bed opens up, and so Nicole calls the hospital maintenance to report what had happened. They asked her via the phone the details about the equipment. She also wants to tell her manager, but she'll return on Monday. So she wrote down the details by a piece of paper and slid it under her office door. She hears a patient calling her name. She just remembered they asked for water. So we've identified that broken hospital equipment might take a long time for it to be replaced or fixed, posing patient safety issues, bottlenecks, and inefficient care. As at HospiFix provides a platform that assists frontline workers to easily report broken equipment and to provide assistance to immediately repair or replace an equipment. So now we'll take you to our HospiFix prototype. After much iteration, we have simplified our platform to ensure that end users find it intuitive to promote high-end user adoption. So I am a nurse who have discovered a broken equipment, such as a bed. So I will, in this platform, I will click hospital workers, and I will be directed to this landing page. I will type in my email, type my password, and if I haven't registered yet, I will click register. Next, I will enter a few details required. And then I will sign up. In the event that a previous nurse has already reported the broken equipment, I can quickly check if it has already been submitted. I can also check if the manager has seen it and approved for it to be triaged, and also if a supplier has been notified for them to provide us with more parts or equipment. But if an equipment has not been reported yet, I can report the broken. I can click the report a broken equipment. Over here, I can take a photo of the equipment and upload if necessary. Next, I can also enter the equipment brand, the model number if applicable, the room number where the equipment is located, and a few more details to explain why this equipment is broken. After that, I can submit report, and then it'll be added onto the dashboard. So we do envision that our platform can open up bigger opportunities, particularly when the volume in the database increases. So for our value proposition, key stakeholders are being informed of broken equipment with its relevant information in a unified platform. In addition, there's an ability to triage and enact repair or replacement to avoid patient care delay. Our innovation factor is that our platform consolidates the reported equipment view to all the stakeholders involved for quick triage and response. So let's talk about the business model. We're offering a software as a service or subscription-based model. So there will be a monthly recurring revenue charge to the hospitals participating. We've also thought of other business model options. So we also have thought of procurement efforts. So we can take commission of the sold parts or equipments, and also recycling and disposal efforts. So we can charge recycling and disposal fees. We've also thought of other opportunities for growth, such as by utilizing the dashboards as an analytics tool. We can take the decommissioned equipment and keep salvageable parts that can still be sold. And we can branch out to private clinics and nursing homes. Thank you for listening. We look forward to the questions.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Charmaine. Let's get the judges back on stage. Okay. Tim, I'm guessing that you want to get in on this round. You want to just unmute?
I'm just having a hard time wrapping my head around what is different with this proposal and what already happens in the hospital, because the hospitals are actually quite adept at turning around these fixes really, really quickly. They keep an inventory of parts on hand. We always have spare beds on hand, and we can actually replace a bed or other equipment fairly quickly. Any of the plant services at the hospitals I've worked have fairly robust internal processes for this, and so maybe there's a big picture perspective here that I'm missing though.
Yeah, so I guess it also depends too per hospital. However, there are some potentially rural hospitals who may not have that advanced resources compared to bigger urban hospitals. So unfortunately, for some hospitals not as equipped as well-funded hospitals, they might have the lack of resources for maintenance team to quickly enact and replace and repair equipment. Obviously, if the equipment is posed as unsafe to be used, it has to be people have to wait for it to be fixed, and therefore, if it's currently not been seen yet, obviously it's not safe for the clinicians, frontline workers, for them to use that. Some hospitals, they are doing a system. The system that they might have is that it's traditional phone calls and writing things on a piece of paper, where it's a very siloed information. So if the maintenance team is aware of one situation, but not so much with the department's manager, there might be there might be a communication gap, and this tool that we are providing hopefully bridges that communication gap.
Okay, great. So Charmaine, on one of the mentor visits, I learned that you're an RN, so it sounds like this is a pain point for you.
I am a nurse here in Vancouver, BC.
All right, so you've got some experience with this. So Isaac, I think you want to get in with a question, just on mute.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to touch on your thoughts around implementation, and I think that in order for this to have effect, you want multiple access points within the organization, the managers who see it, the frontline workers who actually get information. Talk to us a little bit about implementation. How do you see this rolling out in a case hospital?
Yeah, so we've definitely thought of end user adoption, and which is why for our platform we try to make it as simple as possible, so that it's there's not a lot of extra clicks, and that it's intuitive for users to use. So you can register either as a frontline clinician, the managers, or the maintenance team, so that the information can be seen by multiple stakeholders. As for implementation, it's a very simple register, like what we have demonstrated earlier. And then after that, as for the registration, to ensure that the correct employees are the ones entering equipments, we did add employee ID, just to ensure that proper employees are the ones entering information.
Yeah, I think that would be an important consideration because we have to think about, is this at the regional level? Is this a tool that is implemented at a provincial level so we kind of maintain some consistency across? Is this an add-on? Because I'm sure there's all, and Timmy could probably attest to this, already internal systems that are being used. Is this something we attach to that? But I think it's nonetheless, it's an interesting idea.
Thank you.
Super. Thank you so much, Team HospiFix. Appreciate it. Thank you. We're going to clear off the stage for now and send the judges away. Are you guys tired from running around? All right. Next on deck is team number 12. So team number 12's name is team number 12. So we'll wait, give them a few minutes. Hi there. Okay, so we're back and we have team number 12 ready to go. They're backstage. We're just going to bring you on stage right now. There we are. Hi, guys. How's it going? Hey, good
We're
to
good.
see you. Awesome.
Doing great.
All right, so you guys are all set? Good to go?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. I'll get out of here then. Over to you.
All right, so great. All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alan, and my colleagues are Joe, Elsa, and Priyank. Today, we are really excited to share to all of you Taylor, the tool to battle senior loneliness. Canadian seniors are suffering from a mental health epidemic, with physical challenges, reduced interactions from retirement, and a reduction in income. As many as 1.4 million Canadian seniors are lonely. This has only been amplified during the pandemic. But here at Taylor, we want to end social isolation and make our Canadian seniors feel whole again. At Taylor, we are driven to help seniors like Mark and Catherine, who live alone without adequate family support. Our product allows users to have adaptive and private spoken conversations with an AI bot that will be used to process key insights into their mental health. They will be able to keep a log of their conversations and see their progress, and loved ones and healthcare workers can track their progress too. Most of our competitors are inconvenient to use due to the need to have an actual human therapist, and the ones that use AI chat lack the community ethos of Taylor. Taylor is truly the only product in the market that offers the personalized human experience of speaking, not typing, about mental health and allowing others to check in on a senior's progress as well. Now I'll pass it on to Elsa, who will talk about the vast opportunities with Taylor.
Thanks, Alan. So what's our Taylor opportunity? Mental health is costly to any society. And with Canada, it costs $51 billion specifically to mental illness per year. Senior bracket accounts for 18%, rising to 25% of our population. And if we can capture 10% of the target population, we have potential to reduce our burden by $1 billion. With Taylor, we made it easy to scale, implement, as there is no hardware requirements. We're looking at $130,000 to launch this product. So in terms of monetization, we have two levels for users. Freemium alerts can be set up for up to 2 individuals for alerts. A subscription, unlimited alerts with full dashboard access for the circle of care. And for the likes of insurance companies and government entities, we have subscription model to gain access to ad hoc analytics to review the overall population health and gain insight into care needs. I will now pass it to Joe and Priyank to show our Taylor Uno prototype.
All right, thanks, Elsa. So Priyank's going to start broadcasting his phone right now. Yeah, and so on the right side, we're greeted with the login screen. And once a user does log in, we see that the page is really simple and has large text for the older adult population, and a big blue button to answer that question, how are you feeling today? And so we chose to do speech to text because for older adults, it's more intuitive for them to actually speak than to type on a touch screen. So for example, if I record, I had a hard time today, I'm probably going to fail. The recording's sent to a secure cloud database, so we don't have to worry about security or hardware in that sense. And so in the terminal to the left, we see our backend doing the work, and it uses 2 services. One of them is the speech to text, and the other is a natural language processing to get the sentiment or emotion behind the sort of passage of text that was recorded. And so if we see our passage had a score of negative 0.89. So negative means it leans more on that negative side, and a maximum score of 1. So we see it's clearly negative. And with this score, our hope is the app will sort of sense those like mental health tips. But even for positive scores as well, we hope that the app celebrates with them as well. And as I was speaking, an alert was sent out in real time, like we said, to the circle of care. So for this example, it would be a caregiver saying, hey, your loved one has expressed negative emotions. You should reach out to them. And I'll pass off to Elsa to finish up.
Thank you, Joe. To measure Taylor's success, we have 2 top-line metrics that we monitor: activation to total signups, retention in daily active users over monthly active users. We also have a few supporting measures, including streaks of using the app, satisfaction, and lifetime value. And finally, Taylor's possibilities are endless. Our future pathways are to open up to multiple languages and dialects, texting, predictive modeling, connection to other health applications and Internet of Things devices, and broadening our market to the general population for adoption. And finally, tailor to your day, tailor to your mental health needs. With that, Taylor said thanks for your time and look forward to your questions.
Amazing. Thank you so much. It looks like you've uncovered a pretty big Taylor-tunity. So as we bring the judges back on stage, I want to know who was in charge of branding. Or is that a team effort?
I don't know Elsa's position, but like she's below me.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay. I'm sure the judges want to sink their teeth into this one. Who wants to go first?
I have a question. You started out by talking about senior social isolation. How does the app solve that? Like it seems to do, analyze their mental state, but it wasn't clear to me how it helps with social isolation.
For sure. Do you mind if I take this? All right, awesome. So like we mentioned, it really connects that circle of care. So I know most people relate to one clinician, but if we're looking at patient-centered care, it's really a circle. So that includes, psychiatrists, case managers, even their caregivers. So our plan is to, give everyone access to a dashboard showing, their recordings and that sort of like sentiment analysis. And hopefully you're able to see it in real time. It sent Priyank a text message saying your loved one has expressed, these negative feelings, and to reach out to them.
Right.
So the intent of the prototype.
Sorry, I want to add on to that. Also, another aspect of our app is just It's the fact that a lot of seniors may feel reluctant to voice out these concerns, especially because they don't want to be a burden onto their family members or to their children, right? And so this is about getting them to actually start going into their thoughts and logging their thoughts and really communicating even just to themselves. And so maybe they have all these different issues besides just loneliness. Loneliness was just one issue that we want to fix with this, but also just other negative emotions that impact mental health, right? And just getting the conversation started. As with anyone who suffers from negative mental health, it's the biggest burden is actually getting started with addressing the actual issue. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll follow up with you, Mark. And I think we may have just started to see what the functionality of the app is. Certainly, we asked one question, and one question itself may not be a true or complete indicator of how anybody is at any state. So I'm wondering if Taylor itself becomes a little bit more conversational to kind of build up, a larger samples, if you will, before it arrives at what's really happening even from a sentiment analysis standpoint. Is there engagement back and forth between Taylor and the user? Does Taylor talk back? I guess is what I'm asking.
Elsa, do you want to take it?
Sorry, at this time, I think our prototype doesn't show that, but that is our next iteration. We do want to have a more conversation engagement, and that's where the social isolation is hopefully more so supported or reduced by the app, or having that human portion or function of interaction with the users. So yes, that's our next step.
Yeah, and I think there's an interesting proposition here, because I mean, obviously in this case, the interface is the phone, but there's definitely a number of products in the market where the interface is not the phone. It's like a small robotic animal that also senses how somebody's feeling emotionally. So maybe to challenge yourself, Taylor doesn't have to be on a phone that a senior doesn't want to hold. Maybe it's a small fluffy device that sits next to them on a couch. So I think the beginning of the journey here, and I think there's definitely something that could push. I mean, I don't know, Tim, you work a little bit closer in the health space. I don't know if you want to comment on that.
Yeah, well, a couple things come to mind. When your B2B model, who is the customer? So I was unclear on that. Sorry.
It's mostly we're thinking of the insurance companies and also perhaps government entities that may find and serve their purpose of showing how in ad hoc the mental state is with the population.
Sure. Okay. Because I was going to say avoid healthcare, and I'm not sure if we can do this as judges, but I would be happy to have a conversation with you guys down the road to share some of my experience in that area. Am I allowed to do that, Trish?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Sure. You can do whatever you want.
My second thing I was going to say, there's a professor at Ontario Tech University, Chris Collins. We're doing some work with Chris right now to develop chatbot technology for this specific issue for workers. So Chris out of Ontario Tech University, my scientist that works under me, Dr. Simone Arbor, she's a recovery scientist. She's helping him develop the scripting. And then we're working with the city of Whitby because their concern is their workers who are working from home and are experiencing isolation. So I'd be happy to connect you with Chris as well, because we've been working through a lot of these issues using chatbot technology, which might be something you want to go to. I think that goes back to Isaac's question, like, is there interactivity?
Yeah.
Right. And it's great that you mentioned this, because we've actually considered these issues while, or not issues, but opportunities while looking at different target markets and different ways of implementing this. Like, one of our initial ideas was actually using a Google Home or an Alexa instead of an app, right? But given the constraints for our first prototype, we really wanted to focus on an app, something that was achievable within 24 hours. And we also wanted to maybe perhaps focus later on working from home white-collar workers who, surprisingly, even though they face really comfortable outcomes from COVID-19 isolation, are still one of the most affected due to mental health, right? And so that was also another target market that we were looking into. But I think Elsa could give a bit more insight into why we chose to focus on seniors first.
Yeah, with seniors, we see that, well, there's, of course, with retirement, there comes another one less social interaction point. And with, I guess, with COVID and everything that's happening, seniors reduce a lot of different touch points in terms of conversation pieces and where there's less interaction just overall in general. So we find that that population is very vulnerable to mental health, and so therefore we think it's a priority to serve them first.
And just a nugget, the UK a year or two ago just got the Ministry of Loneliness, just to show how big of a problem this is, not just here but around the world.
Right, and one more item too is that because we've done so much thinking about this, is that seniors represent kind of like maybe an extreme in the market where they have very niche needs and very unique needs, right? And so once we focus on the extremes of the market, then we can broaden that scope to working from home people, white collar workers, and it'll make it much easier to adapt tailor to the general market than if we went from general market to this niche market of seniors. Yeah.
Okay, super. Well, thank you so much, Team 12. And Tim, please do connect with them after this hackathon. That is definitely one of the goals of our event, is to bring people together so that we can broaden our network. So I appreciate you offering that to the team.
Happy to share my email. Go ahead, Trish, if you like.
Okay, super.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. Thank you, Team 12.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll clear this stage once again. Next on deck, we're going to have team number 14. And team number 14 is called ER on Wheels. So team number 14, ER on Wheels. We'll give them a moment to get on stage. Okay, we're back. So next up, we have team number 14, ER on Wheels. So we'll get team number 14 on stage. Hello. Hi, guys. How are you doing?
How are you?
All right. So if you're ready to go, I will let you get to it, and I'll get off stage. Good luck.
Thank you. See the screen? Okay, great. So, hello everyone. We're Team 14 and we present to you ER on Wheels. So we've all heard about the long waiting times and the dissatisfaction associated with emergency rooms in Canada. And according to official stats, in 2015, there was an increase of 13.4% in the number of patients visiting an ER. And this percent is projected to increase over the next 25 years by 30%. However, 13 to 27% of emergency room visits could be treated outside of ER, potentially saving billions of dollars. However, the question is how to deal with this somewhat unnecessary load. So as seen from the data, 90% of 9 out of 10 problems faced by ERs have a non-admittance rate of over 90%. According to Health Canada, 33.4% of all visits to the ER were made by patients who were discharged back to home after their visit. And these stats indicate that there is a need for emergency cases to be treated outside the emergency department to ensure manageable wait times and decrease load on in-hospital facilities. So to try to combat this problem, we have designed a solution, ER on Wheels. Our solution is a mobile emergency unit paired with a cell phone app that patients may use to self-report symptoms, aiding in making the diagnosis process faster. This app is not completely necessary. It is more like an add-on. Those without access to a smartphone can also contact their hospital and self-report if applicable. In essence, our idea combines two domains of healthcare: mobile units for better reach and access, and telehealth, which has proven its potential in today's days and age. So our mobile emergency room is capable of reducing load in in-hospital emergencies. And as the past year has taught us to be prepared for events of uncertainty, our mobile unit might be an essential service in events such as natural disasters and calamities, and pandemics when people hesitate to go to the hospital ER rooms, and also for people in remote areas and communities where hospitals and ER access is limited or inconvenient. So we plan to focus on these 5 areas of resuscitation for heart attacks, level 3 or 4 trauma units, oxygen therapy and steroids for respiratory disorders such as COPD and asthma, imaging, and open wound management and infections. So our app focuses on providing immediate care and more accurate transformation of medical history of a patient to help them manage their records efficiently. While virtual ER has been provided through many hospitals, they're limited in number of hours of registration, high call volumes, and returns. So our cell phone app is designed to provide basic first aid education for those interested, provide live consultations, have a discussion forum, have immunization and medications, also to self-report to make the diagnosis process a bit easier, and to schedule appointments for ER on wheels, which is not necessary but can be a good add-on. So in terms of our business model, our target audience is hospitals and healthcare centers, and our budget consists of the one-time cost of app development and mobile unit. And the implications are that hospitals save time and resources, have better reach for remote areas, promote telehealth, and effective handling of wait times. So as our next step, we also want to reduce the mortality rates given in hospitals, which a leading cause of which is sepsis, which affects 6% of all general admissions, and the mortality rate is greater than 15%. We want to handle this using a machine learning approach using thermal imaging to have septic shock prediction. And in order to predict a septic shock, a clinical staff will take thermal images of the abdomen and foot through a FLIR, and our machine learning model would then process the inputs and provide if the patient is at risk of a septic shock within the next 12 hours.
On an abstract level, our machine learning model works like this. First, our feature extraction model will calculate the different percentage from abdomen intensity and foot intensity. The shock index score will be calculated by the ratio of median heart rate and median arterial systolic blood pressure. It will also take the patient age and pulse rate as inputs as well. And all these predictors will be passed to our random forest classifier, which will predict septic shock or no septic shock. Our codes and data are available in the link.
Thank you so much for listening to our presentation, and we welcome any questions you may have.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, team number 14, ER on Wheels. We're going to invite the judges back on stage. Great. Glad to have you guys back, and I'll let you take it away. Who'd like to take the first question?
Sure. Awesome. I'll start this, and I suspect Tim is going to be right after me. I'm trying to look at your solution and your proposal here, and it seems like there's a number of interesting things coming on here a little bit. Some of them seem straightforward. Some of them a little bit bigger. Could you clarify how the mobile unit is in some ways different from an ambulance, and how the app fits in, and potentially how the last part, which to me I think is also a very interesting application there, kind of wrapped together. It seems like you have a lot of things kind of happening at the same time.
Mm-hmm. So the last part is more like an application that we plan to enhance in future. Right. Because right now we would have to collaborate with the hospitals to have data to make a nice machine learning model that is well trained. But our mobile unit is different from an ambulance because we would have to have EM physicians, which are not usually available in an ambulance. And ambulances are mostly concerned with transportation rather than treatment. So that's one. It's more than an ambulance. It's like a station, like a fire station, but like it's mobile.
Right. So
And
sorry, is this something you'd work with like the province as an example to create a service, or this would be like a private service that you'd supply your own clinicians and physicians to actually execute on some of what you're thinking?
Yes, so we do plan on maybe collaborating with governmental bodies because that would make the most sense to have to provide our services to hospitals. But it is also possible to collaborate with big hospitals who intend to maybe broaden their reach to remote and rural areas to help them reach out to greater audience. But our main focus would be collaborating with governmental bodies to reach out to their hospitals.
On there. Tim, I'll let you come in here. I think you may have something.
I guess when you identified the areas of acute concern that were in your presentation, I guess my mind immediately went, how are you going to manage the equipment? Because what you're really talking about is almost like an enhanced ambulance service with a whole buttload of equipment. Like you're going to need like a transport truck to follow the ambulance.
Basically, yes. So there have been previous attempts in different countries to have like mobile chemotherapy units, to have things like ECGs and mammograms even, to have ultrasounds. And they have been able to achieve it. It's just bigger in size. I think it resembles an ambulance because that's the most like mobile medical device medical equipment vehicle that we can think of, but it's more like a station. I think like a fire station maybe, but it's the ER out of the hospital so that the hospital doesn't have to be burdened with the load of patients who don't actually need those intensive care units.
So I guess, as a researcher, I would need to see at least some kind of pilot evidence that would justify removing the emergency physician out of the physical brick and mortar space and putting them in a mobile unit in terms of the efficacy of that reallocation of services. So are we actually, because if an emergency physician's in the emergency room, they can see multiple patients in an hour. If they're deployed in the community, they might see one patient every 2-3 hours, who knows? So I would need to see evidence that if you're going to be removing a very, very valuable resource like an emergency physician, I would need to know that we're saving X number of lives, we're adding X number of years to people's existence that would justify the reallocation of that highly, highly valuable resource.
Definitely, that makes sense from a hospital point of view. But looking at it at a patient point of view, if I live in a rural area and like I don't have that access to a good hospital and it's inconvenient, I would be I would appreciate it if there was someone available to look at me in an emergency kind of point of view. And also with our app, we also want to really limit like how much, if it's not unnecessary, so you don't have to go there. And also it kind of provides that support that you're being heard, because with hospitals, it's usually the long wait times, or like they only have a few positions to have positions for a return call, which can be, for the patients, it can be sometimes very disappointing. So that's how we plan to, it's for patient satisfaction and to have a better reach.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much. Team number 14, that was ER on Wheels. Really appreciate your presentation and your time. We're going to clear the stage right now and have the judges leave as well. And next up, we have team number 19. So that's team number 19, and their name is Care Band. So we'll get them backstage and be back in a couple of minutes. Okay, so we're back and we've got team number 19 and their name is CareBand. Team number 19, welcome to the stage. Hi there.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm all right, thank you.
Excellent. All good to go?
Yep.
All right, I'll get out of your way. Okay, so we're back and we've got team number 19 and their name is CareBand. Team number 19, welcome to the stage. Hi there.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Can everybody see my screen? I'm just going to assume that you guys can.
Sorry. We can see your screen and we can hear you. There's a bit of an echo loop happening. So if you have Hopin open, please close it.
I don't have Hopin open. Is it better now?
I think you're okay now, but you're good to go. We can see and hear you and we can see your screen.
Awesome. Okay.
All right. Thanks.
So hi everyone, my name is Anushka Singhal. I am from Team 19 and the product I designed is called CareBand. So what is our problem? So the pandemic has caused many people to be trapped inside their homes. And in these tough situations, hospitals are under pressure to work efficiently and effectively to provide healthcare. They don't have enough beds and supplies available to treat everyone. According to the New England Journal of Medicine, when WHO announced the pandemic, US only had about 60,000 to 160,000 ventilators available, while its population is 328.2 million. So what is my solution? My solution is to monitor patients from a distance. Now, I know many hospitals have already turned to telehealth or telemedicine to provide for people who are not able to come to the hospital, or if the hospital does not have enough supplies. That, however, requires more staff, and there are high chance of human error. I want to create an RPM device that monitors all the important vitals. Before we get into my solution, I want to talk about an RPM. What is an RPM? RPM is a remote patient monitoring device which enables healthcare providers to track a patient's health in real time by collecting data and planning treatments. RPM devices exist, but they can only provide one vital check at a time. So for example, if you want to check your oxygen level and your temperature, you will need two different devices. Now my solution. My solution is to create a wristband, which will not only, when you first get it, you will have to register. So when you register, it will ask for your name, age, weight, height, your emergency contact, and your family doctor contact. After that, it will start monitoring your 4 important vitals. The most important vitals are your temperature, your heart rate, blood pressure, and oxygen saturation. Now, you may be wondering, why are these vitals so important? That is because some of the symptoms for COVID are shortness of breath, fever, and chills. CareBand will not only measure these vitals for COVID, but for other health conditions as well. Since we're all stuck inside, we have not been getting enough exercise, and measuring your heart rate and blood pressure can help maintain that, as well as keep you in check and make sure that you're healthy throughout the pandemic. Now, why CareBand? So CareBand can check all 4 important vitals in your device. In just one device. All you have to do is wear that wristband and everything will be available to you on that device. There's no person required to buy 4 different types of devices for 4 different vitals check. Also, it is hassle-free because you don't need to have any medical knowledge to work a CareBand, as all the data is tracked and it is sent to your family doctor. That way you can sit at home and be monitored daily. Thank you. Any questions?
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Let's get the judges back on deck. There they are. Are you guys exhausted from running back and forth? All right. JP, we haven't heard from you in a while. Would you like to jump in on this one?
For sure. So on the product side, where you're collecting the data, where is that being pushed to? Is it going to a cloud service database first, all being secure? And then how does this device actually work? Is there a chipset on it that you're able to balance all of these different components that you're pulling the data from? And what's the cost of this potential watch going to cost you?
Okay, so from my understanding is that I want to upload the data all on cloud. That way it is accessible in case you do end up switching family doctors, or if anything else happens, it is accessible even to you in case you want to look at it on your own. Another thing that I want to do with this is have either a sort of what is it called, kind of like a SD card sort of thing, where all the data will be also kept in the little device. So that way you also have a copy of it in case something does go wrong. The cost, so I did a little bit of research. The hardware can cost somewhere around $1,000, especially when you are getting it imported and all that stuff. It can cost about $1,000 per watch, which is quite expensive. But my thinking is that if we can use some products that are already built and kind of add them and engineer them into this product, it will make it cheaper, which will make it affordable for everybody around, and everybody will have easy access to it.
Can you hack a Fitbit?
I mean, you can hack anything, right? Like anything that's available online, technically you can hack it.
Well, maybe that's your cheap way to get into the market. So
Yeah, actually, let me build on Jeff's question there. Obviously, there's a range of products that are on the market right now doing a lot of what we're talking about. I'm wearing an Apple Watch right now that gives me heartbeat and oxygen saturation, and so forth. How are you different from those, and how do you separate what this band is going to be?
So my wristband, the difference is that Apple Watch or even your Samsung or Fitbit, any of those, right? They don't really aren't in touch with your family doctor. They don't really keep a track on your emergency contact or even your family doctor. So, they can't really update your family doctors automatically, sending them daily reports of how you're doing, especially when, so many people are so scared of going to doctors and actually visiting hospitals, even for that matter of fact. So I think this kind of just gives them a way to sit at home and still be able to look at everything that's available to them, especially with heart rate and temperature. Blood pressure is a big thing as well, just because since we're all sitting at home, we don't get exercise, and because we're not getting any exercise, a lot of people don't even know how to measure blood pressure. So for getting an expensive device for that it's not worth it all the time for many people. So just having one machine do it for you all, I think it kind of saves you the hassle to go out and buy a very expensive device that only does one, that's only checks one vital sign for you. So that's how it's different, because on your phone, for example, if you have any of those, if you shake your hand like this, it counts your steps, or it can, it might increase your heart rate and stuff like that. But this one will guide you through it, and it will be like, okay, like now they're moving their hand and like stuff like that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, team number 19, CareBand. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. So judges, I will let you know that we have our final team up next, and that's team number 20 called Hume. So team number 20 is on deck. That's Hume. We're going to give them a couple of minutes to make their way to the backstage. And we're back. All right, so up next is our final presentation, and that is team number 20, Team Hume. Welcome to the stage, Team 20.
Hi, it's so nice to
Hello,
be here.
how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Good. Excellent. Ready to go?
Yeah, definitely.
Super. I will get out of your way. Take it away.
Thank you so much. So hi everyone, today we're going to be presenting Hume, a mindfulness and meditation app. So Deepak Chopra defines mindfulness and meditation as a journey from activity to stillness and a de-stressing of the mind and body. Today we're going to be giving you an introduction to Hume. We're going to be talking about our story, our healthcare issue, our prototype, and our final goal that we hope to achieve. So we'll start off with our story.
On March 2020, after watching so much the news and being away of my family and also losing my job, I suddenly started feeling chest pain, difficulty breathing. I immediately thought, oh my God, I got COVID-19. I took exams and I did not have COVID-19. What did I have then? I ended up finding out that I had anxiety. Talking to a friend, he told me to try meditation to help with anxiety. And I downloaded some apps, but couldn't keep using them. They were just not fun enough for me.
Similarly to David, there's a lot of individuals who feel anxiety and stress during this global pandemic. So our healthcare issue hopes to sort of target this stress and anxiety and help to reduce it through our app. So here are some statistics from Statistics Canada that highlight how mental health has worsened over time. So 52 participants of the study indicated that their mental health was either somewhat worse or much worse due to the pandemic. 88% of participants experienced at least one symptom of anxiety during the pandemic. In terms of ages, 64% of those aged 15 to 24 reported a negative impact on their mental health. And similarly, 75% of those aged 65 and over also reported a negative impact on their overall mental health. So now we're going to talk about our prototype, an app that would help to reduce all of these mental health issues and improve mental health overall.
Hume for mindfulness or meditation, or Om, Hume. Hume proposes ideas of gamification to create more than a meditation session. It actually brings you together with your friends and family. You can do meditation sessions solo, playing a game style, or you can connect with your friends. While playing solo, you can advance through levels, and while you advance through levels, you can gain energy that can be used to advance to unlock new levels. And when you finish every single session that you put on solo, you can set your mood that will help us with the statistics and figure out what will be your next session. You can also add your friends, and our friend Jeff will explain.
Okay. Okay. So we've just shown the two different modes that we'll be having, which is the create a solo meditation session. So this would just be you picking your own and working at your own pace. Then we have another session which we prefer, which is the friends meditation. In this case, we can get a numerous amount of people in a room together to meditate all at once, and we feel that would actually be better for a person because it helps create, especially in this type of time, to create more connection with engagement with other people, and then again make new friends. And then last, we just keep a history of the different types of sessions that you've had. As you can see, the next chart is just basically we'll be showing at the end of just how you progressed, I guess, in the overall. And then the last aspect would just be doing this activity will earn your achievements, which will keep you engaged to the program, because we all know that you always want to try to get the best kind of score, and you get something virtual for achieving what you need to do. And we've then created like multiple like premium meditation service. So what we're figuring is like it'd be free for basic users, and then you pay more for the premium services, which is more one-on-one with healthcare professional.
Yep, definitely. So our goal essentially is to improve mindfulness and meditation. We'll have relaxation, and we want you to reduce your stress and anxiety for teenagers, adults, and elders. These all come from different areas where people are stressed with their lives in terms of school, in terms of work, in terms of not being able to see their loved ones. So we definitely want to improve mindfulness and introduce meditation as part of that. We also wanted to focus on reflection and growth, reflecting on how you're feeling and learn about yourself through smartwatch statistics that would be monitoring you during your session. So you could take a look at your heart rate, your breathing rate, your blood pressure, and get a better idea of whether meditation is the right option for you. Of course, we highlighted that connection is essential. And so we would be connecting you with different individuals in your family, and you can have these sessions together to make it a little bit more engaging, which would help your emotional health and your mental health.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Sorry, that's your time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
No
you
problem.
so much. That was great, and I'm loving this color palette that you've got on your presentation.
Thank
you.
I'm going to bring the judges back on stage here with us. I'm sure they're going to have some questions for you.
Hello.
There they are.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, judges. Okay, I'll turn it over to you. Judges, do you want to fight over who goes first, or who's up next?
Don't fight, please.
Yeah, we'll let Mark go first this time.
I unmuted first. I guess my initial reaction to your app. I mean, I really like the presentation, the look, and approaching mindfulness from a slightly different angle about participating with family and things like that. But the idea of gamifying meditation felt like, I don't know if that's really a stress reducer.
We were definitely
So
we see where
that would be my comment, is just think about, how, if that really is, I mean, if the gamifying portion of it really adds value versus the interactive portions that you had. But I understand what you're trying to do.
definitely. I think those are like
to the
two.
app.
One of the problems that most people do while using apps is that they don't keep going. Suddenly you download an app, you use for a couple of days, maybe a week or so, but you leave them behind, just taking space on your phone. So our idea is creating a stream of things that you can achieve and bringing friends and family together so people feel more engaged and to continue going and using the app.
And one of the main things we wanted to highlight was that the gaming aspect is just essentially to engage different age groups. So we wanted to engage teenagers in a way that would be entertaining. And so you hear about all these like video games that have these kind of things. And we thought, why not bring that into a meditation app where it's not so much addicting, but it's something that you can keep track of and feel a sense of accomplishment.
Yeah, and I understand that for sure. I'm going to ask a question I asked earlier in terms of what happens within you. What am I doing? I saw a little bit of a squiggle line of something happened there. Is it a series of very easy, sort of relaxing, mindless type games that distress you? Or what are you actually doing during that period of use?
Yeah, so during, go ahead.
Okay. During the period of use, when you unlock levels, you create on the solo. You will be doing meditation sessions that will be chosen for you based on the mood or the previous moods that you had during the week or during the day. So, for example, if you, the previous days, you had input that you had a very angry mood or maybe a sad mood, we would balance create the session based on your previous moods, and that would be improving your mood in the future. So the stats show you how long you had the session and also your overall mood.
Yeah, I think one of the main things is like it would be like a recording sort of, and you would choose like you want to go on like a beach, a forest, whatever you think your most comfortable environment is, and it would sort of like play a soundtrack and walk you through, especially breathing. I feel like that's super important in terms of meditation. So we just walk you through breathing, imagining somewhere with a lot more peace.
Absolutely, and I think that's what I was trying to get at. I mean, you have like instructions saying you can now close your eyes and breathe deeply, breathe quickly, and move your fingers, so to speak. I think that's probably where that value of distressing really is in the app.
Yeah, those would be unlocked depending on your mood, and also on the premium sessions, which you can buy for $7 per session. You would be with an instructor instructing you how to meditate and so on.
Right. Very interesting. Thank you very much. At the judges here, this is the last one, so I think Tricia could indulge us. I don't know if there's any question that you want to do, Tim or Jeff.
Yep, we're good.
We're good.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Team
Thank you
Hume.
for having us.
Oh, you bet. It was our pleasure. Thank you for participating. So that's team number 20, Hume. So we'll just clear the team off the stage. So our judges are going to be sequestered in a private meeting room. They're going to convene. We're going to tally up our scores, and then we'll get back on stage to announce our winners. So thank you everyone for tuning in. I think we saw some great examples of fantastic ideas. What do you guys think? Yeah, it was pretty astounding, and just really a wide range of ideas. And you're allowed to unmute, by the way, if you do want to chime in. So I will let you go off to that private room so we can tally up the scores. But when we get back, I think this announcement's going to be pretty exciting. So hang in with us, guys. It'll be a few minutes. We'll get the judges out of here. Okay, hello again, everyone. Welcome back. I know you've been waiting very, very patiently, and you're probably all exhausted, but here we are at the end of the hackathon. Hackathon, not marathon, although it's just as physically exhausting. I'd like to bring our judges back on stage so we can have a quick chat before we make some announcements. So, hey, Isaac. Hi, Mark.
Hey.
Hey. And I think we're waiting for Tim.
Yeah, I think Tim is having some technical difficulties. So hopefully he'll join before the session is over. But how awesome was that? So excited to see the amount of effort and energy that went into these ideas. We didn't even expect. Certainly a lot addressing the current situation, the pandemic. Mental health was a big issue. Efficiency in healthcare delivery and hospitals, which Tim was very, very excited about. So what a great event. So happy to have been part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So Mark, how did you find the event? This is your first one.
Yeah, it was excellent. The range of projects was really inspiring. Everything from applications within the hospital to helping people manage their own health, mental and physical. Everything in between, that was really excellent. I was also very happy to see the number of women that were participating. I have 3 daughters myself, and at National Research Council and IRAP, we also have programs around funding women-led businesses, et cetera. So that was also really encouraging to see the participation from so many talented women out there.
Absolutely. And I was just so excited and happy to see that as well, Mark. It's one of those things, every time we host the hackathon, we're always looking out for how many women attend, because I think certainly women are underrepresented in STEM. And I was just thrilled to see so many women involved in this year's hackathon. And I just hope that this trend continues, because I think that their influence certainly came across in some of the solutions. JP, did you want to add some comments in there?
For sure. No, I thought this year was fantastic. Mark, I can't believe you haven't come before. I guess you're going to be here next year and the next 10. Done. And but overall, I thought it was fantastic. A lot of amazing ideas. I think there's a lot of opportunity to convert some of these into some real full-fledged businesses. And I hope everybody looks at it and decides, is there something here that I can expand on and turn it into something and get an MVP out to the market. The diversity was impressive. It was amazing. And I love the fact that you guys are all across Canada. So like you're pulling people in everywhere. So that's amazing. So I think it's showing that Whitby's got a good leg in driving out a fantastic hack event. So it's always been an honor and pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much for your continued support. So this is number 4 for you, and we'll see you next year at number 5, right?
100%. Yeah, guaranteed.
Right. Sweet. I love that. And you're on the hook, Mark. JP called you out.
He's got to do it.
All right. So I was hoping Tim could join us. Hopefully he still can. There's still a little bit of time, but I've got to get to some announcements, right? So the first prize that I want to announce is actually the social media prize. We were asking folks to give us some shout outs on social media, just to make sure that we had some signs of life throughout the event, throughout the night. And I'm happy to announce the winner of our social media award. The prize pack is Alan Liu. So Alan Liu, thank you so much for sharing online. Alan Liu. Fantastic. So Alan, we're going to connect with you and get your address, and we'll get you some awesomeness shipped over to you. All right. So down to the competition. We would like to recognize 3rd and 2nd place winners. So first up, we've got our 3rd place winner. Is there a drum roll? I mean, usually when we're in person, we got something going on. Thank you. In 3rd place, we have MedSpace. That's MedSpace, team number 8. So congratulations, you guys. Fantastic prototype. And for those of you who don't remember, this is the app that would allow patients to actually present more than one issue to their medical doctors, right? So fantastic idea. I know this is a real problem out there. And I think this idea may have some legs.
Yeah, I really like this concept. You know, as we discussed, obviously during the presentation, you have 24, 30 hours trying to put something together, but we see the beginnings of something here that will address a real problem. You know, between patient care and how, you know, efficiently that could be delivered. People don't want to walk away and then find out that they could have talked to their doctor about something they had. So if we actually bring these together in a simple platform that enables physicians to deliver the care they need, but also allows patients to communicate as they need to, I think this could be something quite exciting.
Absolutely. All right. I do want to note before we announce the second place that we have actually been broadcasting live for over 3 hours. So that is a marathon. So thank you guys, for keeping the energy up and for hanging with us. So now it's time to announce the second place winner. Drum roll, guys. All right. The second place goes to Stock Keepers.
Yeah.
Team number 2, Stock Keepers. So this was the app that used computer vision to check on inventory levels in hospitals. And the intent there was to really improve efficiency for a lot of the nurses and administrators. So again, I think this is another idea that has some legs.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll start, and unfortunately, Tim had some difficulty, but this is something that he right away, and obviously Tim's from Lakeland Health, so this is a problem he knows and sees on a first-hand basis. The efficiency is not only to perform and deliver care without having to spend time looking for a product, but also the broader capabilities to understand how are we managing our supplies, and how could we, aggregate those needs to even get better, opportunities and sort of leveraging and negotiating. I think that's a lot of power there. The hardware doesn't seem to be the most difficult part, which was surprising because they're really low-cost cameras that could actually be integrated with machine learning to detect and deliver that analysis. I thought that was a great idea as well. JP and Mark, I'll let you guys comment as well on that one.
Yeah, I thought it was excellent. I mean, obviously managing inventory in hospitals is a significant issue. That's something that needs to be done all the time. But I also like the aspect of it that the nurses and the staff at the hospital who were looking for product, not just necessarily that it's there, but where is it, right? So they can find it, and maybe it's on another floor. In addition to keeping their own shelf stock, but maybe they need some equipment, and how do they find that equipment quickly and get to it and access it?
Absolutely. So second place winners, Stock Keepers, congratulations once again. We'll be in touch with you because we've got a prize pack coming out to you as well.
We have some hardware for Stock Keepers and MedSpace as well, right? So we'll show that off hopefully before we're done here, but absolutely.
You bet. And speaking of hardware, Isaac, you've had that cup sitting in front of you the whole time. So I think it's your job actually to announce our first place winner.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've been holding on to this innovation cup for the past, more than 12 months now since we prepared for the last hackathon. And I mean, this event is not really about, walking away, with hardware, but really a sense of purpose that you accomplished something. We've been live for 3 hours, which seems like a marathon in itself, but the participants and really you guys out there have been, on this probably for 30 hours and probably been thinking about this all week. So everybody that took, opportunity to be here, put together these ideas, pitch in front of people you've never met, let alone everybody else is watching, I think you need to be commended for that effort, and that in itself deserves an applause. So judges, let's give just recognition for the work they've done. So with that, I'm so excited to announce that the first place team for Hack for Good 2020 Body Hack is actually Iris, and we're going to bring them up on stage.
Team Iris.
Thank you, guys.
Iris.
Awesome. I just want to say congratulations to you guys. I thought that your idea was very much in spirit of what this hackathon was about on so many different levels. This is about Body Hack, about improving and changing people's lives. As you know, all the participants did. Yours, I think, narrowed in. It built in some ways on platforms that already exist, but kind of brought a different angle on it. So you very quickly see how you could adopt it to existing components. So how do you guys feel about that? I mean, how are you feeling right now?
Oh, it's awesome. Like, it's our third time to join the hackathon.
Yeah,
right?
I actually had this idea going for like 2 months, and I wasn't thinking about joining this hackathon this year because I had a lot of things going on, but I had the idea, and I thought it was such a good fit for the theme of this hackathon.
Yeah.
And it feels like a lot of like everything I've worked up on, like even in the last hackathon, the issues, I think I had issues finding like a way to market that, but then this idea came along and it fit this hackathon so well, and I thought I could just piece those technologies together.
Yeah.
And then just put it for here.
And after all the research we did, and then
it was definitely a lot of research. Like for like I actually the competitors that I was looking at, I actually went to their websites and started checking out, and they were emailing me, so I was like figuring out like their marketing and everything too. Because this is it's definitely something I want to take further, and it's really nice to get some validation.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think I'm so excited that the participants are talking with each other, because I mean, I think there's a lot of ideas here that should be built beyond this. And I was actually talking to the GS team. I'm like, we need to start an incubator because there's some amazing, thoughts here. But I'll let Jeff and Mark comment also on the winning team.
Yeah, I thought the idea was excellent. My own mother is visually impaired, so I have a personal connection to your idea.
Yeah.
I think it will add a lot of usefulness to people's lives, which is in the spirit of Body Hack. But also in the spirit of Body Hack, I loved your solution. You had, you had the breadboard on the table, and you had wires, and you had your own Raspberry Pi board, and then you wrote software and you demoed it. A live demo that was you were streaming by moving the camera around, So I just felt like in the spirit of the hackathon, it really felt like you guys had all the nuts and bolts of what made a great project.
Thank you.
Awesome.
And I'll add that I was going to try and be, I don't know, three-peat. Great job, guys. Fantastic. I'm very excited. I think we've chatted a few times on LinkedIn, but I would be certainly interested to chat again and see if it's something you guys want to push forward with. I'd be interested to throw in throw in lots of different details, but we'll go from there and see what we can do. But there is certainly an opportunity there. And as I mentioned before, there's a couple companies that I know that are in this space that would probably be quite excited to work a little bit more on this with you guys. So love to chat again, but great job. Great hack.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, I'll definitely reach out.
Yeah.
And this is what it's all about, right? I think Jeff and Mark are some great people to know if you want to advance this prototype. So with that, congratulations. I think it's very clear that this is a winning team. You can't break this team up.
Yeah.
So with that, Isaac, I think this is it. I mean, first place goes to Team Iris, and what an awesome job, guys.
Yeah, thank you. So like at the end, I want to say thank you for all you guys did for the hackathon. So like, so in this past 3 years, like we did learn a lot from the hackathon, and we gained lots of experience, and I really appreciate that with you guys all work together. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Excellent.
Well, with that, I mean, Trisha, I'll leave it to you to make the closing remarks. But before I do that, I do want to commend the team that you, Trisha, has done. Certainly, everybody behind the scenes who we don't see, Suzanne and Megan and Cassie and the design team that have created this whole event. And it's tremendous to see that for a first-time virtual event, it kind of worked out the way it did. So I just want to take time to recognize the GeekSpeak team and the volunteers who are kind of manning and have been doing the mentors, walking into the rooms and checking on everybody, making sure everybody was okay. Into the late night, we had a DJ for the first time.
Yeah,
DJ Benji did his thing. So
music.
All this was contribution. So Trish, with that, I'll let you close us off, and we'll see everybody here in 2022.
Yeah. Fantastic. I think people have heard me speak enough, so I'm going to be short and sweet. I just want to say thank you again to all of our sponsors. We couldn't have done this without you. And as Isaac said, we couldn't have pulled this off without our Geek Speak volunteers as well. My team is amazing. They do incredible things, and I'm just in awe of them. This is our first virtual event, and I think it went off pretty well. So thank you so much to our Geek Speak team. Love it. And I know you're all tired, so I'll let you all go.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Congratulations again,
Bye, everybody.